188, sunny and clear, a beautiful day indeed. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Tim Ryan, and of course, this has been an historic weekend in Iceland, and we will be keeping you up to date on all of the discussions between President Reagan and General Secretary Gorbachev with CBS News reports, and we'll be going there with any of the latest developments from the summit in Reykjavík. Well, Terry Bradshaw, let's talk a little football here as we await the 49ers and the Vikings. Last week, the Vikings being dumped by the Bears unceremoniously 23-0 in a game in which Tommy Kramer had a lot of problems, and today they come in against this high-powered offense with some defensive players hurt. But I guess the main thing you got to do is make sure Kramer can throw the ball.
Well, the thing that's been so apparent is that the Vikings move the football through the air, Tim, and it's very important that they protect Tommy Kramer. Zimmerman at left tackle got a bad left elbow. He'll be going against Dwayne Borden. Haley, Charles Haley, 94, a fine defensive end. So it's important today. Plus they're on his blind side, his left side. Imperative today, if the Vikings are to win this football game, give Kramer time to throw the football.
All right, and of course the Vikings taking on a team in San Francisco that's got Wendell Tyler back in action. He comes off the injured reserve list through waivers, and joining Roger Craig and Joe Cribbs in the backfield certainly lends some punch to the running offense. But last week it was all in the air. Kemp to Jerry Rice.
It's very easy to fall in love with Jerry Rice. He's kind of the darling of the National Football League, guy that makes things happen. Today, I think Kemp will try to go deep. I think it would be a mistake. The Vikings are too smart to allow this to happen. Key to victory for the 49ers will be Russ Francis at tight end and Dwight Clark, number 87. I think it's important that they move it around and get the football to these two fine receivers.
All right, Terry, and the 49ers have won the toss and will receive, and it'll be Chuck Nelson kicking it off for the Minnesota Vikings with Don Griffin and Tim McKyer, two rookie defensive backs that have been doing very well in the secondary for the 49ers. They are back as the return men on the kickoff. And they both arrive at the ball, but Griffin comes up with it, number 29, coming straight up the field. And a good return for Griffin to the 34-yard line of San Francisco. 28-yard return, the tackle made by Rufus Best, number 21. Jeff Kemp brings out the 49ers. Working for the injured Joe Montana, has done quite a job. He'll face this defensive line, a four-man front, one of only 5 remaining in the league. Martin Newton, Keith Millard, and Gerald Robinson for the injured Mark Mullaney. Chris Dolman, Scott Studwell, and David Howard are the linebackers. Isaac Colt and Carl Lee on the corners. Joey Browner and John Harris, recent acquisition from the Seattle Seahawks at strong safety for the Vikings. A new man this year in that role in Minnesota. First down, San Francisco, and they give it to Roger Craig. Craig, number 33, is just met at the line of scrimmage by a host of Vikings, and there'll be a loss on the play. Mike Stensrud, one of the new tackles, and Doug Martin, number 79, making the tackle. Now, Stensrud from Iowa State, acquired as a free agent from Houston. We'll tell you more about him in a moment. San Francisco with Kemp have Cribbs and Craig in the backfield. Clark and Rice, the wide receivers. Bruce Colley for the injured Bubba Paris. Ayers, Quillen, Cross, Fonhorst, and the tight end Russ Francis. So the Vikings having to hustle Mike Stensrud into the lineup because of injuries to Neil Elshire and Mark Mullaney. Flags everywhere on second down. They had ruled no gain on the play by Craig on first down.
Offense, still second down.
And it is called against Bruce Colley, the man that's in there for the injured Bubba Paris. Paris, a man who they thought might have to go on injured reserve after he hurt his knee last week against Indianapolis. However, with all of the roster moves affecting a number of important players on injured reserve for the 49ers, they elected to just go a man short, and Colley replacing Paris, who will be out for 4 to 6 weeks, having undergone knee surgery this past week. Kemp on second down and 15. And it's incomplete. Jerry Rice had the ball in his hands but did not have full possession. Isaac Holt put a hit on him, and the ball went loose. It'll be third down.
Well, the thing that had happened in last year, Rice's rookie year, was the fact that he dropped a lot of passes. As you see, he's wide open. He beats Holt. Now he comes back. It's a fine throw by Kemp, but Rice takes his eyes off the football and drops it.
So it'll be third down. 15 to go. Jeff Kemp having a fine year at 64% passing, 8 touchdowns, just 4 interceptions. Top-rated passer in the National Football Conference. Kemp deep sideline for Rice and overthrows him. On the coverage was number 39, the cornerback Carl Lee. And so the Vikings, with a defense that has been solid since the beginning of the season, holds San Francisco on their first offensive series, and the 49ers will have to punt.
One of the things we can keep our eyes on is their ability, Kemp's ability to get the football to the running backs, the thing that Joe Montana was able to do so well. That time Joe Cribbs had gotten deep and was wide open for a touchdown.
Max Runniger will punt it. Rufus Bess, the return man, and he takes it at the 32-yard line of the Vikings. And Bess, the all-purpose man, gets over the 40, giving Minnesota good field position. Jim Fonhorst made the tackle after a 10-yard return. So Tommy Kramer will lead out the Minnesota Vikings, and Kramer told us that he can get over a week like last week in a hurry. Took him about a day and a half, he figured, and he's thinking about today's football game. He'll face this defensive unit: Jeff Stover at left end, Michael Carter and Dwayne Board, with McCall, Ellison, Fonhorst, and Keena Turner solid linebackers for the 49ers. Tim McKyer, a rookie, on the left side. Eric Wright back from an injury on the right, with Williamson and Ronnie Lott. First down pass out of the backfield to Alan Rice, and Rice gets away from the linebacker Ricky Ellison, and a big gainer for Minnesota all the way to the 32-yard line in the infield dirt here at Candlestick Park. A 28-yard gain.
Isolating the middle linebacker Ellison, number 50, on the running back, gets him outside. Good job by Kramer going downfield and dumping the ball off in a big play.
Minnesota brings out Jerry Rice with Darren Nelson to start the game. Hassan Jones, the rookie wide receiver, and the veteran Leo Lewis. And then this lineup: Gary Zimmerman, a newcomer at left tackle, Huff, Swilly, Tausch, Irwin, all veteran Vikings, and Steve Jordan, the fine tight end. Alfred Anderson and Darren Nelson now the running back pair on the pro set. Lewis in motion. Kramer to throw again. It's complete to the tight end, Jordan, and Jordan gets to the 10-yard line. Eric Wright made the tackle, but twice now they've been able to get men isolated on the linebackers, Terry. 2 big plays.
Well, the thing we'd said earlier, give Tommy Kramer time to throw the football. Once again, isolating him on the linebacker, Ellison, number 50. And then, of course, the tight end Jordan catches the football and is in the secondary. The fear of the 49ers is that Jordan is really not, Tim, he's really not a tight end. He's a wide receiver, just happens to be playing tight end position.
Yeah, he's got that good speed and the moves that wide receivers have. Keena Turner said he was fearful of what he might do to them. Now Darren Nelson, the former Stanford star, and he's wrapped up at the line of scrimmage. Ronnie Lott, the hard-hitting safety man, knocks him out of bounds for a loss of about a half yard. Number 42, Ronnie Lott, 6-year man out of USC, formerly a cornerback, having some fun at free safety. He's got 5 interceptions, 26 tackles through the first 5 games of the season. It'll be second down. They wind up with about a half-yard gain where it's marked. It'll be second and a long 9. Alan Rice comes back in. Rice and Anderson will shuttle in the plays for Jerry Burns and his offensive coordinator, Schnellker. Swing pass out to Rice, and he gets away from Ellison, but Ellison, with a good reach back, got a hand on his ankle, prevented him from going in for the score, but he's at the 6-yard line, third down.
In what is called the red area, the scoring area, you notice there's always a lot of blitzing. The 49ers coming out that time and showing blitz, and blitz isolating the running back Rice once again on Ellison. That time Ellison got the better half.
2 extra defensive backs come in, and Charles Haley, number 94. You heard Terry Bradshaw talk about him as we see the coach, Jerry Burns, the new head man, longtime assistant under Bud Grant, and the head man of the Vikings. Third, they need to get to the half-yard line for a first down. Blitz. And out of the shotgun. Kramer to throw, touchdown. Anthony Carter in front of the cornerback, a 6-yard touchdown for the Vikings. An impressive opening series for Minnesota, and they have opened the scoring here at Candlestick.
Tommy Kramer said the guy we're going to work on is McKyer, 22, the left corner. 49ers come out all-out blitz, which isolates the corner. McKyer, man for man, on Carter, number 81. Carter beats him inside. There's no help there. Easy touchdown.
A rookie from Texas Arlington, the 3rd pick of the 49ers, McKyer, and he has 3 interceptions in the first 5 games. but he's also been burned a few times. They like him, they like his guts, and they like his attitude, but he's a rookie, and Tommy Kramer did indeed tell us yesterday that we think we can do some business over there against young McHire. So they picked on him for the touchdown. Nelson will attempt the point after. 59 yards in 5 plays for the Vikings. Holman the holder, and Nelson has the point after. And Minnesota, the first time they touched the ball, has taken a 7-0 lead here at Candlestick Park. .10:24 still to play here in the first period. Chuck Nelson had to win a kicking battle, Terry, against 5 other kickers. He actually had a special kicking contest back in February, the Vikings, to replace the retired Jan Stenerud. And Chuck Nelson, who hadn't been on an NFL roster since 1984 in Buffalo with the Bills, won the battle, and he's done real well. Had a string of field goals, 10 of them from preseason into the regular season here, but did miss on his last 2. And there is Jerry Burns.
I asked him yesterday, is he still involved in his offense? Because the man is one of the finest offensive minds in the National Football League. And he said he turned it over to Bob Snelker. He said, I completely trust him. I believe in him. He's got a good reputation and a history of always having outstanding offenses. And I've turned it over to him. And I said, well, you have no say-so. He said, well, really, not the only time is when it's 4th down or we got to make a crucial decision. He said, that's the only time I'll tell him, or else I'll say, hey, run it, keep it on the ground. So Snelker evidently has got the confidence from Burnsy, as they call it.
Yeah, and so has the defensive coordinator, Floyd Peters, who he brought in to run the defense, and they did the job on the opening series against the Niners. Let's see what Griffin can do on this return. Shakes off 1 tackle, but again, the hand upsetting him. The hand of Carl Lee, number 39, sending him down, and so the 49ers, after a 14-yard return, will start from their 22-yard line. Jeff Kemp, number 1 rated passer in the National Football Conference. Last week against Indianapolis, 18 of 27, 3 touchdown strikes to Jerry Rice. They had 8 penalties, did the 49ers, in a lackluster first half. They were tied at 14 all and then blew it open in the second half. First down, in motion Dwight Clark. Out of the shotgun on first down. Kemp has his man Clark close to first down yardage at about the 33-yard line near second base on the infield dirt. Linebacker Chris Dolman, number 56, and another linebacker, David Howard, on the hit.
Shotgun on first down, automatically telling you we're going to throw the football. Clark goes down. He reads the linebackers. He sits down between Howard, 99, and Dolman sits there, and then Kemp gets the ball to him.
Okay, let's go to New York.
This is a CBS News Special Report. Reporting live from Reykjavík, Iceland, here is Dan Rather.
Thank you very much.
President Reagan has just started to make his departure statement from the Keflavik NATO base. We go live now to the President's departing remarks.
Armed forces and my fellow Americans. Thank you all. It's good to feel so at home. And I want to apologize for being so late. As you know, General Secretary Gorbachev and I were to have concluded our talks at noon after more than 7.5 hours of meetings over the last 2 days. But when the hour for departure arrived, we both felt that further discussions would be valuable. So I called Nancy and told her I wouldn't be home for dinner. She said she understood. In about 6.5 hours, I'll find out. Well, the talks we've just concluded were hard and tough, and yet I have to say extremely useful. We spoke about arms control, human rights, and regional conflicts. And of course, Mr. Gorbachev and I were frank about our disagreements. We had to be. In several critical areas, we made more progress than we anticipated when we came to Iceland. We moved toward agreement on drastically reduced numbers of intermediate-range nuclear missiles in both Europe and Asia. We approached agreement on sharply reduced strategic arsenals for both our countries. We made progress in the area of nuclear testing, but there remained at the end of our talks one area of disagreement. While both sides seek reduction in the number of nuclear missiles and warheads threatening the world, the Soviet Union insisted that we sign an agreement that would deny to me and to future presidents for 10 years the right to develop, test, and deploy a defense against nuclear missiles for the people of the free world. This we could not and will not do. So late this afternoon, I made to the General Secretary an entirely new proposal. A 10-year delay in deployment of SDI in exchange for the complete elimination of all ballistic missiles from the respective arsenals of both nations. So long as both the United States and the Soviet Union prove their good faith by destroying nuclear missiles year by year, we would not deploy SDI. The General Secretary said he would consider our offer, but only if we restricted all work on SDI to laboratory research, which would have killed our defensive shield. We came to Iceland to advance the cause of peace, and though we put on the table the most far-reaching arms control proposal in history, the General Secretary rejected it. However, we made great strides in Iceland in resolving most of our differences, and we're going to continue the effort. But this brings me to my main reason in coming to Keflavik today, to see you all and express my gratitude. Gratitude for a job well done. I hope you all know the importance of your mission here. Iceland has always held a strategic position in the Atlantic, commanding, if you will, the sea between the old world and the new. Since this is Columbus Day, I have to be careful of this, but many of those who believe that the Vikings were the first Europeans to discover the Americas hold that the ancient Norse sailors first heard of North American from an Icelander. And during World War II, Iceland played a crucial role in the battle for freedom. Early in the war, German U-boats began to exact a devastating toll, including the shipping that supplied the British people with food from the United States. Between March and December 1941, the Germans sank ships totaling more than 1 million tons. Churchill watched with growing disquiet as his nation was pushed closer and closer to starvation. In April of 1941, the British established bases on this island for escort groups and aircraft. In July, we joined them with the consent of the Icelandic authorities with bases of our own. These operations, staged from this very island, proved decisive in the balance of the entire struggle. In Churchill's words, the escort groups became ever more efficient, and as their power grew, that of the U-boats declined. Europe was saved to continue the struggle for freedom. I cite all this history because if Iceland was crucial to the cause of freedom then, it is even more important today. The U.S. and Iceland are joined together as members of NATO. And here you are, thousands of miles from home, closer indeed to the Soviet naval bases on the Kola Peninsula than to our own east coast. And in view of those naval bases and other potential threats, you serve as a vanguard for Iceland, the United States, and all the NATO allies. You monitor military air traffic, you track submarines, and you monitor shipping movements in the vital sea lanes between the United States, Iceland, and Europe. You perform all these tasks with efficiency and dedication, in short, with a keen sense of duty. And ladies and gentlemen of our armed forces, on behalf of a grateful Commander-in-Chief, I salute you.
President Reagan speaking live at the Keflavik NATO base here in Iceland as he prepares to depart after a very interesting and, in the words of Secretary of State Schultz, sweeping, important, and substantial potential agreements were reached.
I can't resist telling you a little story that I've just told the Marine Guard at the embassy. The story has to do with saluting. I was a second lieutenant of horse cavalry back in the World War II days. As I told the Admiral, I wound up flying a desk for the Army Air Force. And so I know all the rules about not saluting in civilian clothes and so forth, and when you should or shouldn't. But then when I got this job, and I would be approaching Air Force One or Marine One, and those Marines would come to a salute, and I, knowing that I'm in civilian clothes, I would nod and say hello and think they would drop their hand, and they wouldn't. They just stood there. So one night over at the Commandant's quarters, Marine Commandant's quarters in Washington, and I was getting a couple of highballs, and I didn't know what to do. So I said to the Commandant, I said, look, I know all the rules about saluting in civilian clothes and all, but if I'm the Commander-in-Chief, there ought to be a regulation that would permit me to return a salute. And I heard some words of wisdom. He said, I think if you did, no one would say anything.
Well, we're in the 1980s, the way the world is and the way television is, and the way summits go. At the same time, President Reagan was speaking, saying his goodbyes at the NATO base. The General Secretary of the Communist Party in the Soviet Union, Mikhail Gorbachev, was continuing his news conference at a theater in downtown Reykjavík, Iceland, about 35 minutes drive from where the president was. Now, Gorbachev has been going on for some few minutes. These are among the major points he has been making. He says that this was a major meeting, that there was pointed debate with President Reagan, that was his word, that the negotiations in Geneva, the long-standing arms negotiations, are at an impasse. And now a direct quote from Gorbachev: we see clearly that all of us are now approaching a new stage, a point of no return, at which a new stage in the arms race might begin with unpredictable military and political consequences. Unquote, Mikhail Gorbachev. That's the story of the Iceland summit. In brief, up to now, we'll have complete details later in the evening, but for now, we return to professional football.
This has been a CBS News Special Report.
I want to talk to you about something that could change your life. Insurance. This is a policy from one of the world's biggest insurance specialists. For almost any kind of insurance, because you just never know when you're going to need insurance. Excuse me. Hey, you big ape! You know who has to pay for this mess?
Trans-America, for insurance and financial services, the power of the pyramid is working for you.
Time's running out to play McDonald's NFL Kickoff Payoff.
Oh, no! But it just got started! It just got started!
Less than 2 weeks left to collect your favorite NFL player trading cards.
It's not enough time! It's not enough time!
Less than 2 weeks left to play and win great McDonald's food prizes.
So let's get going, guys! Come on!
So hurry in to redeem last week's cards and collect more.
And McDonald's! Wait for me!
Hello.
Hello, America, how are you? How do you like the way I'm looking now? I'm the new color Sierra. Let you and I extra pound.
Oldsmobile quality.
Feel it.
Tim Ryan with Terry Bradshaw, and we are back with NFL football. The Vikings and the 49ers at Candlestick Park, where it is tied now at 7-all in the first period. And we have 4:01 to play as the San Francisco 49ers came right back after the touchdown by Minnesota that you saw before we joined CBS News for the coverage from Iceland. The touchdown from Kramer to Carter. The 49ers marched right back the other way. A 45-yard touchdown pass. Kemp to Clark. Tied it at 7. And now the punt from Greg Coleman is down at the 1-yard line, and the 49ers will start from there. David Evans doing the downing. Now let's go back into that play by the 49ers, and Terry Bradshaw. Watch Kemp and Dwight Clark.
Play action. Clark had an adjustment outside against Holt and Browner, the safety. As you see Browner dive for the football and misses it, and it's a foot race 45 yards as Clark ties the game up.
All right, and the 49ers will start from their 1 when we return.
Let's go, Jeff!
Mobil 1 synthetic motor oil. No matter what you drive, or how you drive, or where you drive, or what conditions you drive under. With Mobil synthetic oil technology, there's no finer engine protection anywhere. Mobil 1. On the leading edge of mobile motor oils.
We're MCI. Thousands of people pulling together to give you the best in the communications business. MCI competes with fiber optics in place now for superior call quality and data transmission. Our competition is good. We have to be better. And because we compete, you win. MCI. Communications for the next 100 years.
You're really on the move, all over the West. So you need a bank that can keep pace with you, while only First Interstate can cash its customers' personal checks all over the West. So come to First Interstate. We're not just keeping pace, we're setting the pace.
Tim Ryan and Terry Bradshaw, we are back at Candlestick Park, where Greg Coleman's punt downed on the 1-yard line by David Evans has the 49ers starting from the shadow of their goal line. Jeff Kemp brings them out. Kemp to Clark, a 45-yard touchdown, tying it up at 7-all, and then they stop the Vikings on the next possession, forcing the punt that has us here at the 1. Intended for Dwight Clark, and off the mark from Jeff Kemp. On the coverage, a linebacker Howard, number 99, David Howard, and the safety man John Harris, number 44. So it will be 2nd and 10, 49ers.
The thing the 49ers, Tim, had done last week against the Colts, a lot of play action, hitting Rice for big plays. That time another little play action to hold the linebackers tight, allowing Clark to get out and find a hole. That time, good job by Howard as he got underneath and forced Kemp to make a bad pass.
Well, Cripps has come in along with Mike Wilson, and they stay on the ground. Craig is stuffed at the 1-yard line. A good extra effort. Mike Stensrud, the new tackle acquired this past week from the Houston Oilers as a free agent, 280-pounder, made the tackle. And due to the injuries to Neil Elshire and Mark Mullaney, Floyd Peters and Jerry Burns forced to do some shuffling in the lineup. They've got Tim Newton starting for Elshire, the rookie Gerald Robinson starting at right end for Mullaney, and Stensrud rather than Newton in Elshire's spot. So Stensrud hasn't had a whole lot of practice so far in there in this attacking defense of Floyd Peters, the man right there. From the end zone, rolling is Kemp. The pressure from Goldman gets away from him, and it is caught. Mike Wilson at the 20-yard line has a first down, San Francisco. 17-yard gain as Jeff Kemp showing fine composure, rolling out, and then getting the pressure from the linebacker Dolman, found the open man.
Mike Wilson, 85 downfield. He's covered now. You notice he goes outside and he's still covered. Now Kemp's going out of bounds. He's fixing to step out. Smart move by Wilson. He goes against the flow of the defense, and then Kemp, before he takes that one last step, gets the football to him in first down.
You saw Isaac Holt just completely lose sight of his target.
Now notice Kemp, he holds up right at the very end, and then Studstill, number 55, Studwell, I'm sorry, nailed him.
So it is first down. 49ers have some breathing room now. And the pass is too low to Dwight Clark, incomplete. Pressure again on Kemp, this time from big number 75, Keith Millard. So Kemp has to pick himself up once more. There's Keith Millard, second-year man from Washington State. Their first-round pick in 1984, went to the USFL, and then back with the Vikings last year. This guy was a tight end in high school, Keith Millard, at Foothill High in California, and his high school quarterback was Mike Madden, the son of CBS's John Madden. Millard probably wears a scar acquired after catching the pass from young Mike when he was hit by two defensive backs. And the Vikings stuffed Joe Cribbs. He got maybe 3 yards before they drove him back. Let's see where they spot it. Might get as much as 4. David Howard and Scott Studwell on the tackle. Well, it's going to be a 5-yard pickup before they threw him backwards. Jerry Rice and Clark now come back on. And this third down passing down, Wilson and the second tight end, John Frank, number 86, come out. And there's a look at Dwight Clark, who has a 45-yard touchdown grab to his credit, which tied the score here just as the Vikings hit. And we went to listen to President Reagan in Iceland. The Niners drove it right down the field, and a 45-yard strike to Clark tied it up. Kemp runs out of time and got the ball away. It'll be an incomplete pass. And he is getting up slowly. Jeff Kemp, really rocked by Tim Newton, a 290-pounder, which is light for Tim Newton. He played last year at about 315.
The characteristic of the Viking defense, Tim, is the stunts. Notice the tackles go down inside. A great job by Stensrud, 74, as he throws Ayers aside. But from the outside comes Newton, and he just decks it. As you also see Stensrud, 74, standing around there watching him.
Max Rutherford blocked. In the end zone, it's going to be covered in there by Isaac Holt for a touchdown. And it was blocked by the big rookie, Gerald Robinson from Auburn, the #1 choice. So the Vikings, who have a history of blocking kicks, show they haven't lost the knack. Even the rookies have picked up on the technique. 6'3", 255-pound Gerald Robinson, and Jerry Burns said this guy can fly for a big man.
Well, for a big man, he was a linebacker at Auburn University, which means, Tim, he had great athletic skills. He could run, he could catch, he could tackle, do all those things, cover backs. That time he beat his man, got inside, and blocked the kick.
So the Vikings have an opportunity to move up by 7. Chuck Nelson will attempt the point after. Greg Coleman, the holder. Bad snap, but a good recovery by Coleman. And Nelson gets the point after. Good job by Greg Coleman. And so with 1:14 to play, first period, it is Minnesota 14-7.
I like to go first class, so I appreciate Oldsmobile quality. That's the sporty Delta 88 Coupe. But with the foursome of my own, the Zeller car.
Come on, kids.
Is a Delta 88 sedan. Sporty enough for me,
but roomy enough for all of us.
Olds calls Delta 88 the family car that didn't forget the family.
And Fuzzy's family agrees.
Oldsmobile quality. Feel it.
Your newspaper, October 12th. These coupons match them in a Gillette World Series big ticket display. Win cash, cars, box seats at the World Series. Save up to $16 on these products. Big ticket prizes from Gillette.
Get this NFL travel bag with your team's emblem and colors free when you buy 10 rolls or more of Owens Corning insulation.
Fire brewing. It's more than a way to make Stroh's and Stroh Light. It's a family tradition, passed down from one generation to another for over 200 years. It's what guarantees that smooth, consistent taste for generations to come.
Now you're talking Stroh's. Now you're talking beer. Now you're talking good times. And Stroh's is spoken here.
Next Saturday, the Hawkeyes of Iowa take on the driving force of Jim Harbaugh and the Michigan Wolverines. It's a bout of the Big Ten's best. Next Saturday on CBS Sports.
Max Runiger saw his punt blocked by Robinson. This guy, the rookie, Gerald Robinson from Auburn. No, that was not him.
That was Big
Tim
Newton, number
That's right,
96.
96. And the punt recovered in the end zone, the block punt by Isaac Holt, and the Vikings on top 14-7. Chuck Nelson will kick it off for Minnesota. Griffin and McKyer, two rookies, back to return for Minnesota. It'll be Don Griffin from the 5. Griffin to the 25-yard line, and Kemp and company will try to get things even as we return here with 1:05 to play in the first period, and Minnesota on top 14-7.
Hello. To help you to remember to ask for the Bartles and James Premium Wine Cooler, Ed has invented some memory aids. When you enter a bar, think of bartender. When you think of bartender, remember Bartol's. When you say Bartol's, think of bottles. Then say, bartender, give me a bottle of Bartles and James. This may take some work, but it is well worth the trouble. So please remember Ed's memory aids, and we thank you for your support.
Hello, Mr. Brown.
I need an answer now.
Oh,
See me on that Sawyer thing.
Sawyer? Oh, no, Mr. Brown.
Call your wife.
Call my
JB needs you immediately.
To prevent interruptions, get the new Lanier Easy Talk. 6 different messages can appear on its screen, and speed dialing can access up to 300 names, so you can return your most important calls quickly.
Hello, dear. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Lanier, we're easy to use.
Oldsmobile quality. You'll not only hear it, you feel it.
We are back at Candlestick Park and looking at Bill Walsh, the head coach of the San Francisco 49ers, and the crowd here trying to rouse up the Niners to bounce right back from this touchdown as they did after the first Minnesota score. Jeff Kemp will bring him out. And the cheerleaders have got him pepped up. Ronnie Lott said last week he was disappointed in the 49er crowd at halftime, and the score tied 14-all against Indianapolis. They booed the 49ers when they left the field and
called them their 12th man.
Yeah, he says they're the 12th man, and they let us down last week. We need their support. Since players need that more than a lot of them let on. Kemp out of the shotgun on first down. He's got his man Wilson. First down out to the 43-yard line. Scott Studwell out there on the coverage along with the cornerback. Number 39, Carl Lee. 18-yard gain.
You get a good idea of just how strong Kemp's arm is he stayed in there and then threw that football across the field, had to travel about 30 yards, and boom, he got it in there with a lot of zing, a lot of zest on it.
First down. From the 49er 43-yard line. Kemp, who took quite a shot in the last series, apparently all right. Roger Craig, he's got a hole, and Craig picks up about 7 yards. Out to the 49-yard line. Chris Dolman, the linebacker, number 56, made the tackle. Second-year man from Pittsburgh. Well, some scores, games in progress. Raiders in front of Seattle, 7-0. Denver and San Diego are tied at 7 in the second quarter. Big game in the AFC. The Giants and Philadelphia scoreless in the first. That game just underway. Chicago leading Houston 20-7. It was quite a struggle there against the Oilers early. And Detroit defeated Green Bay 21-14. I'll have some more scores for you. Second down, about 5 to go. Craig again gets about 3 yards. He'll be short of the first down by about 1.5 yards. Tim Newton, number 96, made the tackle. Roger Craig had a hip pointer a week before last and was really not scheduled to play much against Indianapolis, but they put him in when things weren't going so well for the 49ers. He wound up with an 18-yard gain and contributed to their comeback. We have reached the end of the first period. Minnesota 14-7.
Back Wednesday on CBS.
My sister is out there somewhere in trouble.
Word has it she was skimming from a man.
One tough customer, baby.
I hope you nail his miserable hide.
You're beginning to annoy me.
It could get worse.
You could have passed one of them today on a busy street corner like this in any city or town in the nation. There are children who, while playing or walking to school, suddenly vanish without a trace. They're missing children, and they could be anywhere. Hi, I'm Greg Coleman of the Minnesota Vikings. And I know these children aren't missing because these are my kids. This is Kara, Gregory, and my wife, Eleanor. And like any parent, we keep a watchful eye on our kids because we love them. That's why we're concerned with the problem of missing children. That's why we're United Way volunteers. The United Way and its agencies are concerned about missing children and endorse the work of all the voluntary agencies that are trying to find missing children. We can all ensure a greater prevention of the problem by keeping a careful watch on our children and a watchful eye for children in our community. That's why we can say thanks, because thanks to you, it works for all of us, the United Way.
This message furnished by the National Football League.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Bartles & James Premium Wine Cooler. Thank you for your support. Harris Corporation and their business products divisions. Lanier, we're easy to use. And by Oldsmobile Quality. Feel it at your nearest Oldsmobile dealer.
Tim Ryan with Terry Bradshaw. We are at Candlestick Park. And the ball is at the 49-yard line of the Minnesota Vikings. It'll be 3rd and 2 for the San Francisco 49ers, trailing 14-7. And the go-ahead touchdown off a blocked punt. The rookie Gerald Robinson blocking the punt of Max Runninger. Isaac Colt, the cornerback, falling on the loose ball in the end zone. Last time the Vikings accomplished that back in 1983, but they've had 2 blocked punts this season. The pass is complete out to Joe Cribbs, and he has the first down with John Harris on the tackle, number 44. Joe Cribbs, 6-year man out of Auburn, coming over from the Buffalo Bills. Had 75 yards rushing last week. And you can see how they stand at this point. Only 3 yards of rushing for the Vikings, as Tommy Kramer's done well through the air with 85 yards. And Jeff Kemp with 114 yards passing. Just underway in the second half, in the second period, here at Candlestick Park. It's Craig to the 40-yard line. Pickup of about 4 for Roger Craig. Newton on the tackle.
Interesting to see, in seeing what the Viking defense is doing to them. They're taking their tackles and they're undershifting the tackles, or they're overshifting. In other words, they're taking 3 linemen and taking them one side, or going with those same 3 linemen the other way. And what the 49ers are doing is attacking back to the weak side when they take 3 guys and go strong.
That is Floyd Peters' so-called 54 defense. Another man over that center. Flag is down on the play as Kemp gets it off to Craig. Craig, a nice piece of running, shakes 2 tackles. And has first down yardage inside the 30, but let's see what the flag is for. Willie Teal made the tackle. Teal now in Harris's spot at free safety for Minnesota. Teal just off injured reserve, and the flag is against San Francisco. There you see Mike Morosky with Bill Walsh. Morosky now the backup man for Jeff Kemp with Joe Montana down. Morosky became the backup.
Number 80, offense, still second down.
Jerry Rice charged with illegal motion. It will be second down and 11. Dolman has come out of the Vikings lineup. Chris Martin, number 57, 4-year man from Auburn, in at that position, left linebacker. Second and 11. Pass quickly out to Russ Francis, the tight end, and wrestled out of bounds. A little test of wills. Joey Browner, 205 pounds, against the 245-pound tight end Francis.
With everyone concentrating on Rice that time, they brought Russ Francis out wide in motion. and then they'll take Rice down inside. The flow goes down inside, leaving Francis outside. No one there. There, wide open. Now you see Browner from his strong safety spot. He has to come up and tackle a guy that weighs 6'6" and 240 pounds. A little bit of a mismatch, wouldn't you say?
Dr. Lee Ashley and Joe Phillips in the game now defensively. Phillips, the second-round pick from SMU. And that he won a tackle. Third down about 2 yards, and open the tight end, Frank. Frank has the first down and then some to the 21-yard line of Minnesota, driven out by Carl Lee. So the imaginative offense of Bill Walsh starting to show itself here with the tight ends involved.
Top right of your screen, you see Frank, 86, in motion. This gives the quarterback a read of blitz or zone. If someone runs with him, then it's man. No one goes with him. He's wide. He's left alone. As you see Carl Lee, 39, he has to make the stop. What we're seeing is isolations, getting their tight ends open, and then a good job by Kemp, Tim, of getting the football to them.
I think it's fair to point out that you predicted most of this at the beginning of the game, Mr. Bradshaw. They'd be working to the tight ends and Dwight Clark. Loose ball. What a pickup by Joe Cribbs. An alert play by Joe Cribbs, who was the trailing back. And he picked up the ball on the bounce and managed to get near the line of scrimmage. There might be just a slight loss, if any.
Well, in today's imaginary offense, this could have been a design play. You know, you've seen centers that take off and they leave the ball standing there on the ground for the guys to pick up and run with. So with the bounce, maybe it could have been a design play. I doubt not.
It is second down.
Not losing 14-7.
He got it back to the line of scrimmage, so it is 2nd and 10. They're at the 21-yard line of Minnesota, trailing 14-7. Formation left to reverse to Rice. He's going to throw the ball. Oh, incomplete. Intended for Francis, the tight end. Jerry Rice had a little zip on that on the run. Mr. Bradshaw, you had to enjoy that little show of an arm by the wide receiver Rice.
Well, a little razzle-dazzle. Normally you set it up with a sweep and find out if you have people chasing. If you have no containment back, then you run these reverses and then get people out and try to get the football to them. Now you see a little play action. Now Kemp goes out. He hands back to Rice. Now Rice is going to do a nice little pass. Good spiral, too.
That was a good pass.
You bet. Russ stretched out, but he couldn't get it. A defense I want to alert the fans for, and we'll get it for them as the game goes on, is a buzz defense, Tim. And this is the thing that the Vikings are now doing with strong safety Browner and blitzing him and switching his assignment with the linebacker on his outside Dolman. So the buzz defense has been a very important part of the new aggressive style of the Vikings.
We'll be watching for that as things progress. It is 3rd down and 10 for the 49ers. Joey Browner, the injured player, but he was up and all right as you saw. Now pressure on Kemp. Looped one out of bounds here. Had nobody open. And the pressure coming from Doug Martin, who's already got 4 sacks to his credit. Big number 79. 4 sacks in 5 games. The veteran from Washington. He told us yesterday he loves the buzz. He loves all of these defenses of Floyd Peters because they're attack defenses.
Yeah, that's exactly it. The key word is attack. He said in the past we've been kind of passive. We just sit there. But said under Peters, all of a sudden we're turned loose. We're allowed to be aggressive in the buzz defense, the inside safety blitzing, and us all the games we're doing. He said, man, it is fun. And he said, I love it. He said this whole team loves it.
Ray Wershing will attempt the field goal from the 29-yard line, a 39-yard attempt for Wershing, and he nails it straight and true. Ray Wershing, 39-yard field goal, and so the Niners have closed the gap to 4 with 12:01 still to play in the first half. The Vikings 14, the 49ers 10.
Say, these must be Jack's new Canon personal copiers. Great colors.
Yeah, and they copy in 5. You want to see?
Go ahead. Make my day.
Everything you need to copy with is in this replaceable cartridge.
I'll do that.
Good thing Canon has PCs for every personality, even pushy agents.
Lighten up, Jack.
These new Canon personal copiers are light. Put one in my car.
What a guy.
Personal copiers for every personality. For information, call toll-free 1-800-OK-Canon.
Ramada wants to know what makes John Madden mad.
Try to get some special treatment in a hotel. You show them your gold card, your silver card, every precious metal card in the book, and they still treat you like a nobody. But don't get mad. Just get yourself a free Ramada business card. One little red card, get your preferred room rate, express check-in and check-out, and more. With treatment like that, why carry anything else? Yeah. Next time, Ramada.
Call 1-800-2-RAMADA.
The beauty of patience is its gentle persistence, but the power of patience is anything but passive. For proof, we introduced the new generation of Mitsubishi trucks. This Mitsubishi has been patiently crafted to be an exceptional value, with a new shape, a new interior, and all the strength of more horsepower per liter than ever before, which proves that even patience likes to kick up a little dust. Mitsubishi.
Wednesday on CBS.
The man who attacked her wants to finish the job.
He's gonna kill me.
I've come here to help you.
The Equalizer.
Tim Ryan and Terry Bradshaw at Candlestick Park, where this man, Ray Wershing, has closed the margin to 4. And the 49ers used up 5:15 on the clock, going 54 yards in 11 plays. The Vikings holding him to the field goal, and Rufus Best from the 5-yard line, tackled from behind. Dropped by Torrey Nixon, number 20, at the 21-yard line. So Tommy Kramer brings out the Vikings offense. Last week against the Bears, 7 sacks, 2 interceptions after he had been the #1 rated quarterback through the first 4 weeks in the NFC. A difficult day against the Super Bowl champs, but they're looking sharp here in the early going. Seven of 9 is Kramer for 85 yards and the touchdown. Quick drop, and he's got his man. Leo Lewis scrambling around, gets near the 30-yard line, short of the first down. Carlton Williamson, number 27. Making the stop for the 49ers. It'll leave second and a long yard, probably, let's call it 2nd and 2, and 2 new linebackers come in defensively. Milt McCall and Jim Fonhorst on this defense. 2nd and 2, the Vikings at their own 29-yard line. I formation. First we've seen of that today. Darren Nelson hit at the line of scrimmage and stopped short. Good defensive response by the Niners. And it was Michael Carter, the nose man, number 95. Number 4 pick in 1984 out of SMU. He had his bell rung last week against the Colts, and there was a little concern about whether he'd be ready to go this week. 49ers have had a lot of guys beaten up and battered and bruised.
Ideal size for a nose tackle in a 3-4. Big guy, 6'2", not too tall, but a lot of weight, 275, 280. Really plugs up the middle, takes 3 blockers to move them out. That time he did a good job of shaking them all off.
3rd and short. They've got an extra tight end in and a tackle lined up there for the blocking. Darren Nelson is not going to make it. Slipped on the infield dirt, but the 49ers were ready for him. Walter and Eric Wright have plugged it anyway. I'm not sure if he hadn't slipped, but he would have made it.
It's a quick pitch to the left, as you can see, man in motion to give a block and knock it out to Darren, but he's no one there. You know, really, you can get too fancy, Tim, with plays down here. You're only like a yard. Get up inside, get your guys inside, get a lead blocker and try to, you know, jam it out. But to throw a ball out like that with no support, no blockers outside, to me, just defeats the purpose.
Good job by Eric Wright. He came back last week off injured reserve, an injury that went all the way back to last year, and he's still not 100%. He was there on that play. Coleman's punt. Don Griffin is the deep man, takes it at the 25-yard line of the 49ers. Away from one man, by some running room. Oh, open field tackle, or he was gone. That was Wayne Wilson, the former New Orleans Saint. A 47-yard punt, a 19-yard return by the rookie Griffin.
You're going to see Griffin, you know, really the key to these punt return guys, you set up blocking. You go one way, get the flow, then you cut back. Now, here's his cutback. Now he's leaving everyone behind him. Now he sees the alley and he explodes up in the alley. And had not have been for Wilson, then I think he would have gone all the way.
We'll be back at Candlestick, Minnesota, 14-10.
They believe in Liberty Mutual Insurance. Families have put their confidence and trust in our experience.
We're Liberty Liberty Mutual for your auto, home, life, and business insurance.
Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Time to play! McDonald's NFL! Kickoff payoff! Oh, boy! You collect these cards of your favorite NFL stars. Oh, like him?
Every kickoff payoff card is a winner. Win great McDonald's food prizes.
Winning cards must be redeemed by the following week.
So hurry into McDonald's.
New winners every week at McDonald's!
Rub off your kickoff payoff coupon and win great McDonald's food prizes. Then hurry back to redeem your coupon and collect more. NFL kickoff payoff. Every card's a winner.
What do you say? Call it a day. 5 o'clock is here. Now you're talking after work. Now you're talking beer. Now you're talking good times. And Stroh's is spoken here.
Stroh's, fire brewed for smooth, consistent taste. Now you're talking beer.
Now you're talking Stroh's. Now you're talking beer. Now you're talking good times. And Stroh's is spoken here.
The Giants' sack and destroy defense must diffuse Seattle's dynamic Craig DeLargent connection. Doubleheader action starts with the NFL today next Sunday on CBS Sports.
Well, there's Floyd Peters, formerly defensive boss of these 49ers, and now with the Minnesota Vikings. On first down, Kemp, he's got Francis open, and Francis takes a shot, loses the ball. They'll call it incomplete. It was Willie Teal, and Francis is hurt. Teal, perfectly timed hit. Teal has come in for John Harris, who's been bothered with a sore shoulder. What a hit he made here.
As you can see, Russ Francis reaching for the football. Teal comes through and looks like he gets his helmet or his shoulder on the arm or wrist of Francis. You know, they got in that too deep zone, as you see Francis on the ground, and Kemp tried to just lay it in there nice and easy because he was so wide open. And when you look back on this, ideally what a quarterback would have liked to have done, Tim, in a case like that is fire the football in there, get the ball to him now, let him catch it, and let him run.
Good job by Willie Teal timing his hit right at the football, and I think he did catch Francis in the arm of the wrist, and it's been tough times for the 49ers with injuries early in the season. They really had a bunch of guys, and they had to make a lot of moves this past week just to try and compensate for that. Here are the guys that are hurt. Joe Montana, of course, is well-known. Bill Ring, one of their good backups. Bubba Paris went down last week, starting tackle. Todd Shell had been a starting linebacker. Jeff Fuller, a valuable defensive man. Derek Harmon, one of the running backs. All those guys hurt and out of action, and that doesn't include Pete Kugler, who just came back from an injury and got hurt again last week. And they're banged up. And Kemp intended for Rice. That's out of bounds and incomplete. Had he caught the ball, he was already out of bounds. So it'll leave 3rd down and 10.
And talking to the defensive people for the Vikings, the thing they were going to try to do is get both their safeties wide and outside, Tim, to take away the deep threat and not allow the 49ers to get Rice or any of their other receivers man for man on their corners. So they're playing in what they call that too deep zone. And what the 49ers are going to have to do is attack the center. You attack the middle like they did a while ago when Francis was wide open and they had that incompletion.
Kemp is now 8 of 16, 143 yards and a touchdown. In time, now he hits Rice again, and Rice complete for a first down. To the 47-yard line in Minnesota territory, Isaac Holt on the coverage made the tackle. Jerry Rice, a 3-touchdown man last week against the Colts.
The Vikings are blitzing more. They're being more aggressive. That time, Holt had Jerry Rice man for man, a crossing routes. Boy, you love it when you got a guy trailing like that. Kemp got Rice the ball. Rice got the first down.
San Francisco Bay Area media referring to him now as Instant Rice, Wild Rice. They have a lot of fun with that. Vikings have their own Rice, Jerry Rice. This is Cribbs. Good defensive work by the Vikings. Screening out the left side and shutting it down after a gain of 2 at the most. Chris Martin, the linebacker, number 57, the man to put the stop on him. But good pressure and good penetration by Minnesota's defensive front.
You'll notice as the game goes along, there's Peters calling. Peters, look at this. There's the signals going in. He's the man that sends it in. A lot of times he'll send in what's called the green call, Tim. And when they hear the green call, that tells the defensive lineman, everything's off. Let's go get it. Freelance, do whatever you want. Maybe he gave him the green call that time.
Well, we got 2nd and 2 here. Maybe we'll see it again. They are an attacking defense. And the pressure comes on Kemp, and he is forced to throw it out of bounds prematurely. Roger Craig saying he was forced out of play by the defender, the linebacker, Howard. But no call over there, and it is an incomplete pass.
No way the ball could have been called. Howard had his man blanketed. That time, again, good pressure by the front four. You know, when you can pressure the quarterback by using just your defensive lineman, then you allow your linebackers to roam and do what they want. Inside, look. Inside, everybody's penetrating. Stensrud coming in. Newton, 96, doing a good job forcing Kemp outside, forcing him to make a bad pass.
Gerald Robinson comes in at defensive end, the rookie from Auburn. Bess and Evans, 2 more pass defenders in the secondary on 3rd down. Short drop for Kemp. Kemp has his man Wilson, and that is complete for a 1st down. 49ers at the 35-yard line, driven out by Carl Lee, but not before he had both feet inbounds. Here's a guy who's an unsung hero among the well-known pass receivers, Dwight Clark and now Jerry Rice. Wilson in his 6th year out of Washington State, just Mr. Steady. As a 3rd receiver, he's ideal.
I was talking to Dennis Green, the receiver coach. I said, describe Wilson for me. He said, steady. I said, how about Francis? He said, strong. How about Rice? Explosive. Not bad. Clark, steady.
1st down, 49ers at the 35. In motion comes Jerry Rice. Picked up by Holt. Kemp out of the shotgun. Little roll to Rice, who bobbles but holds on. Did not get much, however, as Holt, right there with him, knocked him down after a gain of maybe a yard.
Trying to isolate their corners and put a receiver in front of the corner, Holt, number 30, and a receiver behind him. They sent in the backs deep into the corner, and they're taking the wide receivers out short and putting a lot of pressure, what they call a two-way go on the corner, Tim. That time, 30, Holt came up, took away the pass. Craig was wide open behind him for a 25, 30-yard gain.
It'll be 2nd and 9. And there's Jeff Kemp coming over from the Rams, and the backup to Joe Montana finds himself as the main man. Play action. By some time. Right, wide open. Touchdown. Well, they were patient, and they got this play they've been waiting to hit.
Once again, a play action. They hit the Colts for 3 touchdowns off of play action. Another play action, and a miscue in the secondary of the Vikings. Rice wide open. Once again, you got to love the Kemp to Rice combination.
34-yard touchdown strike. Jerry Rice, the 2nd-year man from Mississippi Valley State. Worshing with a point after, and the 49ers are in front for the first time in the football game. We have 6:52 still to play in the first half at Candlestick. 17-14, 49ers lead.
Seagram's Golden Wine Cooler brings you the winning edge. The winning edge is often a matter of raw power. It can intimidate, dominate, and ultimately be the key to victory. Earl Campbell was a classic example of a player whose game was built on power. 4 times in 1980, his tremendous strength powered him to 200-yard games. For 3 seasons, Earl Campbell led the NFL in rushing and took Houston to the playoffs with a power that gave his team the winning edge.
What would you like?
Well, I don't know. What do I feel like?
Why not try something you've never had before?
Is that a line?
No, it's a drink. Seagram's Golden Wine Cooler. It's wet, it's dry, it's new, and it's Seagram's.
You sound like a commercial.
You buying it?
The drink? Yeah, but not the line.
It's a start.
New Seagram's Golden Wine Cooler. It's wet and it's dry.
The beauty of patience is its gentle persistence, but the power of patience is anything but passive. For proof, we introduced the new generation of Mitsubishi trucks. This Mitsubishi has been patiently crafted to be an exceptional value, with a new shape, a new interior, and all the strength of more horsepower per liter than ever before. which proves that even patience likes to kick up a little dust. Mitsubishi.
Tim Ryan with Terry Bradshaw as we await the kickoff from Ray Wershing, and a 34-yard touchdown pass. Jeff Kemp to Jerry Rice. And Terry, you could just feel that somehow that was going to happen, that they were setting it up with the runs, Craig, Cribbs, and suddenly, bing, that play action, they hit it.
Well, you get down on the 20-yard line, you got everybody playing tight coverage, play action. The safety came up, Rice went right by him. Same thing happened last week in Indianapolis against the Colts.
Rufus Best, Wershing's kickoff from the goal line, and Best gets up to the 25-yard line, is dropped there. And the first man on him, Tom Cousineau, picked up from the Cleveland Browns, once a highly touted linebacker out of college, went to Canada, and somewhat of a reclamation project here for the 49ers. Bill Walsh thinks that he may be all right here. California leading Boston 3-2 in the 7th inning in the American League Championship Series, and the Angels leading 3-1 could close it out with a win today. Stunning game last night won by the Angels. In fact, 2 thrillers yesterday with the Mets winning the final homer by Dexter in the 9th inning. Football here. That is Darren Nelson, man. Not much room for him. 1 yard, 2 at the most. The nose man, Michael Carter, number 95, at the bottom of that stack, putting the stop on Darren Nelson. Nelson, the Stanford star, naturally like to be making things happen out here, just up the road from Palo Alto. The Bears finally prevailed over Houston. It wasn't as easy as it sounds. And look at that, the Jets in New England, 31-24 final score. Atlanta over the Rams today, so Atlanta moving to 5-1 rather, in the Western Division. The Niners win here today, they retire the top. And the Niners stiffening defensively. Stop the Vikings on that play, Allen Rice, after a gain of maybe 1 yard. It'll leave 3rd down. And 7 to go. Nixon and rookie Larry Roberts come in. There's the final by Atlanta. Atlanta moving to 5-1 with a victory over the Rams. The Rams fall to 4-2. So the Falcons have at least a share of the lead in the NFC West, depending on the outcome of today's game. Leo Lewis, Hassan Jones, Anthony Carter, 3 wide receivers for Kramer. Gets the time, hits Lewis, and Lewis hit right near the marker where he needed to get for a first down. Quite a hit by Keena Turner, and let's see how they spot the ball. It's going to be very close. Right at the 35-yard line on the infield dirt here at Candlestick. Referee Dick Jorgensen calls out the chains.
One of the responsibilities, Tim, of a receiver in a 3rd down situation is know where the markers are, know how far you have to get downfield, get there, and then pose your problems, sit down, and let the quarterback find you. We'll just have to see if that's the case. First down.
Leo Lewis, he got there, and then he had to take the hit. He's a little guy, 5'11", 175-pounder. Having that linebacker, Turner, paced him from the backside, knowing he was going to be hit. Good job by Lewis to hold on. So the Vikings keep the ball at their own 35. 17-14, 49ers lead. 5:05 to play in the first half. Tim Ryan and Terry Bradshaw watching an entertaining first half here in San Francisco. Kramer, deep downfield, throwing it like Bradshaw. Intended for Anthony Carter. Ronnie Lott back there on the coverage. Incomplete.
I appreciate that. That's McKyer, number 22. This is kind of an outspoken guy. He loves to talk. He's been beat for 4 touchdowns in the last 5 weeks. As you can see, he's ahead of the receiver. Now, the responsibility here, what Tommy could have done very easily, Tim, is there's no way you can complete it long. Underthrow it. Let the receiver make the adjustment on the football. That way, there's no way that McKyer could have stopped it and you could have got a big gainer out of it.
2nd and 10. Vikings. Allen Rice and Wayne Wilson now in the backfield. Kramer has his man, Jordan, for a first down in midfield. Steve Jordan, the tight end from Brown. McKyer making the tackle.
There's McKyer, 22. That time rolling out to the right. McKyer, top of your screen, right in the middle. Backing up, backing up. As you can see, he's got his man. Now he makes his move. Tommy says, no way I can get it there. But then he sends Jordan a crossing and gets him the football.
First down, Vikings, right at the midfield stripe. Trailing 17-14. Kramer wants to throw, gets lots of time, and throws it deep. Nobody there. And Kramer complaining about something. There is a flag down. Now, whether the man he was going to try to hit downfield got tied up by a 49er, we'll possibly find out. There is a penalty signaled against San Francisco.
Taking a play out of the 49er playbook. Kramer coming out with a play action pass, looking one way to get the defensive backs.
Personal foul, a jam to the face. Number 21, defense. First down.
Eric Wright, the veteran from Missouri, called what sounded like a blow to the face of some kind. We didn't hear that transmission perhaps as well as you did at home, but nonetheless a personal foul against Wright. And first down.
Kramer coming out with a play action, trying to get these safeties out of the middle of the field so he can come back and throw to the left. Now he's coming to the left. Now he's just going to throw the football away. Now he just throws it away. Now he'll point, and he said, hey, ref, did you see that? He's pointing right at number 21, Wright. Ref said, okay, I see it. Down with the flag.
First down, Minnesota.
Down at the bottom of your screen, look at the right hand of Wright, right to the face mask of the receiver. That's a no-no.
Looked like Anthony Carter, I believe, trying to get into the passing routes. Ted Brown is in now with Alan Rice for the Vikings. Play action. Kramer steps up in the pocket and can't get it away.
Intercepted.
Manu Tuiasosopo picking up the pass of Tommy Kramer as he was hit by Board. And Tuiasosopo, who had been cut and re-signed this week, comes up with a huge play.
Play action. Ted Brown up inside. Now Kramer's going to be forced to step up. Now he realizes he's going to be tackled, so Tommy he's really just throwing the football away. And unfortunately for him, Manu Tuiasosopo is right there. Hits him right in the old bread baskets, and it's off to the races.
How about that? The 8-year man from UCLA was cut earlier in the week because of all of the roster moves that the 49ers have been forced to make with injuries and guys on injured reserve, and the restrictions on the moves you can make off of that list of players. And they let Dennis Harrison go, and they brought back Tuiasosopo, a very popular guy on the team. And they had been trying to trade him, find him a nice home. Were unable to do so, and he winds up back on the 49er roster and makes that big play. First down at the 43-yard line of Minnesota. Joe Cribbs trying to get wide. Knocked out of bounds at the 39 of the Vikings. On the hit was Scott Studwell, the linebacker, number 55. So the big play with 3:35 to play in the first half, and the 49ers on top by 3. Tuiasosopo has the 49ers in Viking territory just inside the 40. There's big Manu from UCLA, acquired in a trade with the Seattle Seahawks back in '84. 2nd and 6. Cribs and Craig are the running backs. And they give us to Roger Craig, and Craig is wrapped up by big Tim Newton, number 96, and the linebacker Martin, number 57. It'll leave 3rd and about 3 for San Francisco. Trying to get more points on the board before halftime. 2:48 and ticking down. It's going to be 3rd and 4. We have had big plays galore here in this first half. A 45-yard touchdown from Kemp to Dwight Clark. A block punt by rookie Gerald Robinson. A recovery by Isaac Holt of the Vikings. 34-yard touchdown pass to Rice, and then the intercept by Tuiasosopo. And this pass is caught. Is he inbounds? They say yes. Roger Craig at the sideline, number 33, to the 25-yard line, and a 49er first down.
Isolating your backs on your linebackers, 57 Martin in hot pursuit of Craig.
I want to tell you, that was very close. His foot came down. The second foot appeared to me to be right on the line.
You're going to see him reach. There's 1, 2. You're right, Tim. Out of bounds. Incomplete.
Well, depending on the angle, as usual. You know, that's not foolproof. And you know, I hate instant replay. I mean, for use by the NFL. I like it for CBS television. That is Roger Craig. And Cribbs, the ball carrier, pardon me, and Tim Newton putting the hit on him.
One way to really solve that problem on these catches and whether or not they're out of bounds or not. Instead of we got natural grass here, instead of painting these rascals, why not just put the old chalk, bring the chalk back, and then if the chalk goes up in the air, then you know that the guy was out of bounds.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah, that'll work.
2-minute warning here as the Niners lead by 3. We'll be back.
Should you ever drive from Paris to Dakar, we'd suggest a Mitsubishi Montero. Montero's won the Paris to Dakar rally 4 years straight, so it knows the shortcuts. But should you stay closer to home, you can still enjoy Montero's 2.6 liters, the independence of four-wheel drive, and the crafting of its civilized interior. Because you don't need a road rally to enjoy Montero, just an impulsive imagination. Mitsubishi.
Where you been?
Busy. My son's home with the family.
From the city? Must have cost a bundle.
He just got a big promotion.
Your son?
Yep. The business was growing too fast. The right hand didn't know what the left hand was doing.
He finally knows his right hand from his left?
He knew IBM could help. They've got computers and software for any size business. He put computers on everyone's desk. Use something called telecommunications to tie all their offices together. Now everyone knows what's going on, from L.A. to New York.
No one understands what's going on in New York. How'd your son know IBM did all that?
He's a smart boy.
Smart boy, I'll say.
Smart boy. Who'd he take after?
2 minutes to play at Candlestick Park, and behind that hazy glass is Norm Schachter, the replay official for the NFL. And we're going to show him and everybody else here this one more time. There's Craig. Now there he got the ball now, one down.
Now watch his right heel. Right heel hits first. That's part of the foot. All right, now we can say that's a completion, but Tim, we've looked at it 5 times in commercial break, and these guys have got one little instant shot down there. His foot did hit the line. I'm saying.
Well, I'm with them right or wrong. That's my point. I think that's got to be the human call. You know me. I'm opposed to the instant replay.
Take the reverse.
Kemp. Caught and thrown out of bounds by Newton on the sack. And a big play defensively for the Vikings as the 49ers at the 25-yard line trying to get some more points up before halftime. Newton drops them all the way back. They're going to mark it at the 36-yard line.
Well, they've run this play early, except they handed to Rice. Now he's outside. Kemp's going to be sacked. Now, the thing he must do, he's got to learn to do this, get rid of the football. He knew everyone was covered. Montana, the one thing they say a major difference, even though he may not have Kemp's arm, Tim, he has great field vision. Great understanding of when to make something happen and when not. That time, poor judgment by Kemp.
Bess and Evans come in defensively. 3rd and long. Kemp gets time, has a man, and the ball is dropped. Incomplete. Incomplete, even though it's picked up by Howard. On the coverage was Carl Lee, number 39, as Dwight Clark dropped the football as soon as Lee made the hit. So it is 4th down, and the Vikings defense comes up big here, keeping the 49ers from increasing the lead. And it'll be Max Runniger coming in to punt. We have 1:25 to play in the first half. Got an extra ball on the field they got rid of.
I've seen times when I would have liked to have had 2 footballs at the same time.
Runniger standing at the 50 will try to angle for the corner. 3 Vikings deep, lined up along the 10-yard line. Runniger delicately punts that ball and see what kind of a bounce it gets. Well, can't get it. It'll be a touchback. Nice try by Runegar and his punt crew. But the Vikings will have it at the 20-yard line with 1:16 still to play. Kramer can be dangerous in this circumstance. First down, the Vikings give it to Darren Nelson with 3 wide receivers spread out wide across the field. They tried the inside handoff to the speedy Darren Nelson. It'll leave second and let's call it 5.5. Ford made the tackle. 57 seconds remaining. Kramer eluding the rush. Short pass to Darren Nelson to the 40 to the 35-yard line. Timeout is called. 47 seconds on the clock, and the Vikings take their first timeout. There you're looking at Wade Wilson, the backup quarterback for the Vikings, and there's Jerry Burns. You know, Jerry Burns, the last time he was a head coach was 20 years ago at the University of Iowa. So what I like best about Burnsy's history, they call him Burnsy up there, and what I like best about him is that he played as a quarterback on the 150-pound team at the University of Michigan right after World War II. They had those for a while for the smaller guys who wanted to play football, and then they abolished the team, so he had to go out and try out for the varsity. Well, he didn't get to play a whole lot, but he was on the team. And he's had a long career as an assistant in the pros, and now has a chance to be the head man here with the Vikings after years of outstanding service with Bud Grant. You saw the baseball score now. California leading 5-2 in the 8th inning, and the Angels leading that series 3-1, trying to get into the World Series. Coming up at halftime, as we showed you graphically a minute or so ago there, Brent Musburger and special guest Charlie Waters today, and Charlie got to be happy about the performance by his old teammates, the Dallas Cowboys. They'll have scores and highlights for you, and a special CBS News report with Dan Rather from Reykjavík, Iceland, and the events there over the weekend. First down, Minnesota, 47 seconds to play. Shotgun, Kramer. Incomplete. In and out of the hands of Leo Lewis. 4-year man from Tennessee State. 2 defenders on him, Torrey Nixon and Carlton Williamson.
You're going to see Lewis come inside. They're trying to just pick up 10 and 12 yards at a time. Lewis, center, coming down inside, reading the defensive back. He sees Williamson standing there, so he says, whoop, no way am I going in there. I'm going back outside. Well, when he goes back outside, there's waiting for him another one, Torrey Nixon, number 20.
2nd and 10. 42 seconds on the clock. Kramer, short pass again to Darren Nelson, trying to get him in some open field, gets to the 42. 30 seconds and counting, and they get it stopped for another timeout. Charles Haley and Tom Holmo on the tackle.
Taking another timeout, running 2 plays, calling 2 plays in the huddle, Tim. If they don't make the first down, then they're going timeout. What they'd like to do is get down inside the 30, put their man in shape to get a field goal. 2 plays, but they're not making first downs.
Darren Nelson, 237 yards rushing coming into the game. Next Saturday on CBS Sports, you'll see number 10 ranked Iowa. The Hawkeyes take on the number 4 ranked Michigan Wolverines, 2:30 Eastern time. And Jim Harbaugh having himself a fine season with the Wolverines. And that's an important Big Ten battle next Saturday on CBS Sports. Iowa and Michigan, 2:30 Eastern time, 11:30 out here on the West Coast. We have had an absolutely wonderful afternoon of weather here and a well-played, entertaining first half with the 49ers leading 17-14 after the Vikings took the early lead and led 14-7 at the end of the first period. But a Wersching 39-yard field goal and the pass from Kemp to Rice from 34 yards away has the 49ers on top. Remember, Atlanta defeated the LA Rams earlier today in Atlanta to move to 5-1 atop the NFC West. And the 49ers want to keep pace. for the Vikings. They're at 3-2, trying to stay in second spot behind the Chicago Bears, who are now at 6-0 after a victory over the Houston Oilers earlier. Third down. Kramer. It's good time and has a man in the middle. That's Leo Lewis again, and Lewis gets to the 45 of the 49ers, 22 seconds, and the final timeout now called by the Vikings. 21-yard pickup. Kramer to Leo Lewis. Next week, our NFL coverage begins with the NFL today, and these 49ers will be in Atlanta. Again, another important matchup within their own division. Or some of you will see the Bears at Minnesota. Likewise, an important matchup in the NFC Central Division. And then the doubleheader game will feature the Giants at Seattle against the Seahawks. Check your local listings to see which of the first games you'll see in your area. How about the Vikings? They only get 2 weeks off. I asked Tommy Kramer about that yesterday, and then 2 weeks later they got to play the Bears again with the memory sharp from last week's 23-0 defeat. I thought Kramer's answer was very sensible, didn't you, Terry? He said, actually, we just soon play them right away like that. If we get to fool around offensively and so on, they pick up some more stuff, they see us in their game films this way, we can make some changes, and they're not able to prepare for it. And I think also there's just kind of a feeling that they got whooped so badly last week that they're eager to get back to show that they can play with the Bears.
Well, you play a football team, you have so much knowledge, and this is what Tommy was saying. We already are well prepared. We just add a few new things, take away a few old things, and they think they can beat the Bears.
22 seconds left in the first half here at Candlestick. Kramer can't find a man, now goes to the short man again, and they're out of timeouts. That stops it with 16 seconds left. But it'll be second down. Lewis, the intended target. The deep men have been well covered downfield by the 49er secondary.
What they've done with their secondary is take their corners and extra safeties and prevent any reception on the wide sides, which would automatically stop the clock. They're forcing all the receivers inside, and then they're doing a good job of covering them, and Tommy Kramer can't find anybody open. Hey, there's nobody open. That's pretty simple.
That's right. And they have 16 seconds now with a second down. Kramer 13 of 19. 146 yards and a touchdown, 1 interception. Now up the middle. No, miscue there on the route. It'll be incomplete with 11 seconds left.
It was a misread by Kramer and Lewis. Lewis going down the middle. It was a big hole there, but there was a safety in the middle. Kramer read the two safeties go wide and split. He automatically thought Lewis would continue his route, so he threw it down the middle. Lucky for Kramer, he threw it too far. It would have been intercepted.
Two backs go out. They've got Anthony Carter coming off his arthroscopic knee surgery into last week's game. Still not 100%. Hassan Jones, the rookie, who has been the starter in that spot. And Leo Lewis, 3 wide receivers. And this is a Hail Mary up for Jones, and it is incomplete. 4 defenders there for the 49ers, and Eric Wright, the man to bat it down. Leo Lewis trying to get a deflection, and the veteran Wright, you could just see him make sure he slapped the ball down, not up. Once that ball pops up, then you've given somebody a second chance.
The Hail Mary pass, what the quarterback wants to do is get 3 guys in the same area, possibly one ahead of the coverage, one behind it, one to the side, and then tip that football and hope it goes in one of the 2 directions that your teammates are. That time Wright coming back, got up, and then knocked the ball down. Didn't knock it up, he knocked it down.
We'll see it again. You know, I watched Thursday's practice here in San Francisco with a great Y.A. Tittle, former 49er Giants quarterback, and he said he'd like to see them have another guy like Clark, say, in the case of the 49ers, isolated on the other side instead of throwing it into all this traffic, as we're seeing again. And that goes incomplete. Good coverage again. There were 6 49ers there against 3 Vikings. That's pretty tough. The end of the first half with the score, the 49ers 17, the Vikings 14. And then Still kind of getting used to that with his receivers, Clark and Rice.
Well, Clark's actually helping Rice at the timing thing, and you have to put a lot of trust and faith in one another because really the quarterback's just throwing it up there, hoping that the receiver will respond, react, turn around, and then he's catching the ball while the defensive back goes right on by him. It's a hard pass, very similar to the old alley-oop, Hail Mary pass where you just hope that everybody else falls down.
Well, Wershing will kick it off, and we are about to begin the second half with the 49ers on top by 3. Rufus Best from the 2-yard line. Vikings missing Buster Rhymes in this department, but Best gets it up to the 25-yard line. And there'll be a flag for an extra hit out of bounds on Rufus Best, so he's going to turn his return into an additional 15. Charles Haley, the rookie, number 94, giving him a little extra shot out of bounds.
Personal foul, hit out of bounds on a kicking team, 15 yards, first down.
Well, you're going to see Bass as he finally realizes he gets as much as he can get out of this kickoff return. Steps out of bounds. He lets up. Now, here's the shot. Boom, right there, 94. You can see Haley comes in. Down goes the flag.
Buster Rhymes on injured reserve with a fractured wrist. There's a look at Haley, the rookie. Will get a little lecture on that, I'm sure, from Walsh and the special teams coach. And Rufus Best, kind of an all-purpose guy. He can do it all. I put him back there to return kicks and fill in on the secondary. He can play the corner, he can play safety, and become a valuable man for the Vikings. First down. That is Alan Rice. Not to be confused with Jerry. They are not related. Alan Rice, the third-year man out of Baylor for the Vikings. Third-round choice in 1984. Interesting, in 84, they took Alfred Anderson from Baylor, number 2, and his teammate Alan Rice, number 3. Anderson started the game today. Rice is starting the second half. They both become very valuable guys.
Walter Abercrombie at Pittsburgh, Greg Hawthorne at New England. That's 4 Baylor running backs right there in the National Football League.
Second down and about 8. Vikings at their own 31-yard line. And it's Rice again. He's got a lot of blockers out there trying to pick his way, and he does. Good job for a first down. Finally, it's Dwayne Board showing some good speed for a big man, knocking him out of bounds, but a 12-yard gain. Boy, he had a lot of guys out in front of him.
He
there,
really
Terry.
did. They pulled 51, the left guard, Huff. Board, 76, gets in Huff, so he'll pocket and chases him. 76 now. There's Jordan trying to hold him down. Now Board's off to the races. Jordan doing an excellent job, not known to be a blocker. Then Board jumps on and rides him out of bounds.
First down for the Vikings. Talk about a power right or power left. That was the example there. It looked like the entire line was all blocking in front of Alan Rice. First down at the 47 of the Vikings. Quick little hitch out there to Hassan Jones, and that's the rookie's first reception today. He had 15 catches coming into the game. The number 5 choice out of Florida State. Ronnie Lott put the tackle on him. Jones getting to see a lot of action because of the knee injury to Anthony Carter. Carter now back, but not 100%. Hassan Jones has been a real pleasant surprise for a rookie, doing a good job as a starting receiver. Second down. And 6. Minnesota in San Francisco territory at the 44-yard line. Leo Lewis in motion. Pressure on Kramer, gets it off to Darren Nelson. What a job, no gain on the play as the 49ers. Superb defense. It was Michael Carter who put the tackle on after Charles Haley had the rush on Kramer. But what a job to get the pass up, Terry.
Well, they did. They put Haley on the outside, coming to the right of your screen. As you see, Board 76 down inside. Haley outside, jumps up. Then Kramer instinctively says, get rid of this football. Then he dumps it off to Nelson. They did a good job that time.
I think I said Michael Carter. I meant Michael Walter, the linebacker, number 99. The tackle is third down, and it'll be about 9.5. So Kramer from the shotgun. For Anthony Carter, it'll be intercepted by Carlton Williamson. Carter turned outside. Kramer threw it inside. Carlton Williamson says thank you.
Jeff Stover, 72, gets the pressure on Kramer. Kramer had an option. He said, I can either eat the football or I can lay it up and anticipate where my receiver's going. Now, Stover gets there just as Tommy says, whoops, here goes the football. He lays it up, throws it into the inside. 27 Williamson there to make the interception.
49ers came into this game with 14 interceptions, and they've got 2 more here today. One of them by Manu Tuiasosopo after the heat was on Kramer, and he tried to just throw the ball away, and it went right into the belly of Manu, and he was happy to have it. So it is 49er ball on Williamson's intercept at the 11-yard line. Roger Craig blasting out for about 4 yards. I'm sure he's still feeling that hip pointer. Missed a couple of days of practice this week with it, and those things take a long time to heal. But Craig, a great competitor, running hard. Meanwhile, a Viking is down, and it's Chris Dolman, the second-year linebacker out of Pittsburgh. Training staff coming on the field to check out Chris Dolman. Cribbs comes out of the 49er backfield. We're going to have second and about 7 when we return with 12:20 to go, third quarter, and the 49ers leading 17-14. Tim Ryan with Terry Bradshaw, and we're looking at a sore quarterback on the sideline here, Terry.
Well, I don't know if Tommy got, when Stover decked him, it looks like he either got him in the shoulder or got him in the ribs. We've been watching him while we were away on a commercial break. It looked like Timmy was having a hard time getting his breath. Now he's throwing now. A lot of times it could be just nerves, and by throwing you get the blood back and the things quieten down. You can come out and continue playing.
Well, meanwhile, after the interception by Williamson, it is 49er ball, 2nd down and 7. Going to the left is Roger Craig in an open field tackle by Carl Lee, coming up well from the corner, number 39. And there'll be little, if any, gain, perhaps a loss of a yard on the play. And look at this. The Red Sox have come surging back to lead the Angels 6-5. They're in the bottom of the 9th. And, of course, the Red Sox, if they don't win today, they're out of it. Angels trying to get into the World Series against the winner of the Mets and the Astros. Kemp, number 9, the quarterback, replacing the injured Joe Montana, is 13 of 23 in this game, 212 yards, 2 touchdown passes, facing 2 extra defensive backs on 3rd down. It's time, hits the man in the middle. That is Dwight Clark. Clark with a high tackle from number 20, Isaac Holt, that has a 1st down to the 25-yard line. Fans not happy with the tackle, but there's no face mask involved. Like he got him up around the shoulders.
Crossing pattern. Clark, 87, in motion. He'll come back to the inside, and he'll cross with the tight end, which messes up the coverage on him, and he ends up being wide open because of a pick. Now, as you see him come inside, number 30, Holt, comes up. A good move by Clark, which forces Holt to reach up and grab him by the neck. Well, looks like he grabbed a little bit of the back of the face guard there. That's what the fans are hollering about.
So the boos still cascade down here in Candlestick Park. A sellout crowd for the 49ers atop the NFC West, trying to stay even with Atlanta. Kemp. Great catch by Rice. Yards to the 17-yard line of Minnesota.
Same play earlier that they hit Clark for the touchdown. Kemp reads the double coverage, gets the ball between the corner and the safety, hits Rice. Now it's a foot race. Now we find out what kind of speed Rice has. Obviously, he's not as fast as we've been reading because Holt, number 30, ran down Jerry Rice. One thing you've got to have for a quarterback is you have to have time. We said at the offset of the show, give Kemp time to throw the football. He has time, finds his man.
Back live, and it's Roger Craig hit by Keith Millard. Not much there on 1st down as the 49ers threatening to widen their margin. They lead by 3 with 10:05 still to play in the 3rd period. No gain on the play. Keith Millard stopping Roger Craig. 4 catches today, 106 yards for Jerry Rice.
They said that Kemp, one of the problems Kemp has had, Tim, is throwing the short pass. A strong-arm quarterback, 9 times out of 10, will not be a good, accurate passer. His arm is just too strong, and it's hard for him to retain that strength.
That's complete to Rice again. Touchdown. 17-yard touchdown. Second of the day. Kemp to Jerry Rice.
Holt has Rice man for man. He beats him, simple hook. Now the mistake. Holt goes for the goes to make the tackle. He misses it. No way. Rice into the end zone.
Ray Wershing will attempt the point after. There is Jerry Rice. Last week he tied the club record for 3 touchdowns in one game with some pretty good company, the likes of Saltow. There's the point after by Wershing. 6 plays, 89 yards by the 49ers. An impressive drive and another fine job by this young man. We'll be back with 9:34 remaining in the third period. Minnesota on top. There is Jerry Rice, 2 touchdowns today, 3 last week against the Colts. We mentioned he joined some pretty good company. Didn't get to finish as to whom. There he is. Gordy Saltow, Dave Parks, Bernie Casey, and Gene Washington. But the first time in 16 years that a 49er caught 3 touchdown passes. He's got 2 more today. Rufus Best shakes loose. Look at Best backing upfield all the way to the 39. There's some new technique there, Terry. Going backwards.
Well, as tough as that is on these special teams, I personally would want to be running backwards. I wouldn't want to know what lies ahead for me. Best, just simple, you know, got the wall up front. He reads it, sets up inside. There's no way. Look at, there's nowhere to go. He just gets up in there. First tackle hits it. Now he gets off it. Hey, look, I'm still free. Now he gets hit again. Now he gets knocked down. Frank, 86, he finally gets a hold of him and backs his way in there.
You know, that's that defensive back technique, right? He's used to backing up there to pass defend, so he knows how to go upfield backwards. Great job by Rufus Best to the 39-yard line. First down, Minnesota. Darren Nelson cutting it back, but good defense. Solid play along the front of the 49ers. Michael Walter putting the stop on him, and Nelson just could not find any daylight to work with there at all. There is Michael Waller, splits the time on the inside linebacking spot with Jim Fonhorst. Michael Waller, a 4-year man out of Oregon. Started out with the Cowboys. And it is now tied in the 9th inning. The Angels at home to the Red Sox, trying to advance to the World Series, have tied it up. We'll keep you on top of that, don't worry. 2nd and 9. Kramer setting up the screen. Ted Brown. Michael Waller did an outstanding job with a blocker on him. Waller forced him out of bounds as he shook off the block of Jim Huff, number 51, enabling Stover to drive him out of bounds.
Well, the thing you like on you run these screens, Tim, to slow down the pass rush. You got guys coming up the field. You let them in, let them penetrate, and then get your guards, center, and everyone out. Now, you see, as you look at Huff, 51, he's going to come out. There's a screen. There's a completion. Now, Huff has to knock down Walter. Now, look at this. He misses the block, and then he makes all world out of Walters. He finally makes the tackle.
It is 3rd down. Back to the original line of scrimmage, and they've lost about a yard. 3rd and 10. Kramer deep in the middle. Leo Lewis, and Lewis trying to get loose has a first down to the 31-yard line of San Francisco. Nearly broke away from 2 defenders, Torrey Nixon and Tom Holmoe, the dime defense defenders.
Great job by the offensive line. Look at Swilly, the center, looking for someone to block. He doesn't have to help anyone. Plenty of time, and Kramer needed a lot of time because that route was a deep route. Lewis took a long time getting in the middle. Finally, he got there. Kramer got him the ball.
31-yard gain on the play. You'll see Kramer finally get hit after he released it.
Well, there's the throw. There's the hit. I tell you, you could very easily, that time, you could have thrown a flag. Would have been any problems throwing a flag on Roberts, 91.
Larry Roberts is the rookie from Alabama, their #1 pick this year. 6'3", 265-pounder, and they've used all their defensive linemen today. Play action. Kramer going deep, and it is complete against tight coverage. Anthony Carter. And he had McKyer, the rookie, all over him, number 22. Well, what a job by Anthony Carter.
Quarterbacks look for the matchups. You look for the isolation. Look at McKyer, 22, laying on the outside. Now, Carter comes down and sets him up. He sees McKyer outside, so he says, I can't run my route, so I'll come back away from him. He runs the route back away from him. Kramer hits him with the football.
Well, that was a fine play all around. Wasn't it, Terry? Good pass, perfect.
Well, the coverage was ideal.
Yeah.
The smart part was by Kramer and by the receiver, Carter, as he came away from the defender.
Excellent play. All right, the Vikings threatening now. They're at the 15-yard line of San Francisco. 24-14, 10-point lead by the 49ers. Allen Rice blasts inside the 10 to the 7-yard line. Jeff Stover and Larry Roberts make the tackle there for the 49ers.
Situation where you, as a quarterback, you look for ideal situations to attack. Down in this area inside the 20 is a place where the defenses get extremely aggressive, and they do that, Tim, by blitzing, by sending safeties, sending their linebackers. And when you do that, now you come out with a little play action, and then you hit those quick pops, and then you get your touchdowns. That time they elected to run the football.
Tommy Kramer, second down, 5 to go. He needs to get to the 4-yard line for a first down. Little roll and a timing pass incomplete. Leo Lewis, the intended receiver, had not turned his head and didn't give himself a chance to catch that ball.
They sent Leo Lewis in motion that time, and the 49ers counteracted by blitzing Ronnie Lott, 42. Lott comes off the corner. Lewis breaks outside. Now Lewis going in motion. This tells the quarterback man or zone. Now here comes Lott, 42. See Lott? Now Tommy sees it, so he throws the football, anticipating the route and where Lewis was going to be, but Lewis wasn't there. He didn't quite have his head around quick enough.
Third down and 5. Big play for the Vikings here. 6:02 to go, third quarter. They're down by 10. They've got a great chance to make something happen. Kramer's going to run out of there. He's tripped up. What a play! Number 72, Jeff Stover, who was already on the ground with a one-handed tackle on Kramer.
Good coverage once again. Kramer's going to have time. Everyone's out in man coverage. No one in this case is responsible for the quarterback. That time Stover, 72, gets a hand on Tommy's foot, trips him up. Had he not done that, Tommy very easily would have gotten a first down.
Well, I think there was no doubt he had enough room. He might even got to the end zone, but he certainly had the first down yardage. But they'll have to settle for the field goal try, and it's Chuck Nelson. The ball being spotted at the 16-yard line, a 26-yard attempt. Coleman the holder, dead on at the hash mark, and Chuck Nelson has 3 for the Vikings. And this exciting football game continues to be that way, as now it's back to 7. The 49ers 24-17. And he gets over the 25-yard line, tripped up there by Gerald Robinson, number 95. And the 49ers will have decent field position. And Wendell Tyler has been greeted by the crowd, his first appearance today. Number 26, Wendell Tyler from UCLA in his 9th year. They snuck him through waivers on Thursday, 24-hour waivers, and they're glad to have him back. Bill Walsh said he would play him today, but he is now making his first appearance with 5:05 remaining in the third period. I think the plan had been to get him in a little earlier. Roger Craig, the ball carrier, and he gets about 8 yards before he's hit by Tim Newton. Bill Walsh says Tyler can block.
I talked to Tyler and I said, what do you want to do? And he said, I just want to get out and play. I don't care if I run or block. He said, I can block. Well, there's his effort right there. Good job he's doing on Martin, 57. Wendell Tyler, I said, Dorset or Dorset, is that how you got this Wendell? He said, I just decided I wanted to be Wendell. No reason. Kind of said that laughing, too.
He is happy to be back in uniform and playing, coming off a knee injury, age 31, and he's got the ball, bursting through for the first down. Tim Newton on the tackle. They knew it was a calculated risk, but with all of the player moves, the guys they've still got on injured reserve, we told you about them earlier, of course, starting with Joe Montana, but other key players. It was a difficult week for General Manager John McVay to maneuver the waivers around, and they had to take a chance putting Tyler out there, and they got him through along with backup lineman Michael Durrett, and they're both now back on the active roster. Tyler again, this time for about 3 yards. We'll leave a 2nd and 7 for the 49ers. David Howard made the tackle. enormously popular player with the fans and with his teammates. And Tyler said, you know, well, if I have to go somewhere else, I accept it. I understand what they have to do here, but boy, I want to play on this team. And he's delighted to still be here.
I told him, I said, you realize that by clearing waivers, that tells you that 27 teams don't think you're any good. So he said, I know that. He said, I know that, but I want to be here.
They figured about 4 clubs might go for it, but he's got a big salary, and he is 31 years of age, coming off the knee. Kemp wants to throw. Good coverage, and he just has to release that ball downfield. General direction of Tyler and Clark. And it'll leave 3rd down.
One of those situations where they've been trying to get the play action and get the ball to their backs, but had Kemp that time when he came out to the right, had pumped that ball, Rice was wide open. Now we're going to see Tyler as he goes up in the line. If there's a play action, now he slips up in, he checks the linebackers out, and then he finds the dead spot, the void in the zone. No one around him. Kemp's running to the right, and he throws the ball away.
So it leaves a 3rd down. About 7 to go. Tyler and Craig together in the backfield. Pressure from the cornerback, and he is sacked. Well, it's going to be an incomplete pass. Now, the official got turned around on the play. Dick Jorgensen, the referee.
Well, you've heard of 12th man on the field. This time he's in the backfield of the 49ers. Kemp coming out. Good pressure, good line stunts that time by the Vikings. Kemp forced outside, and the referee's right there to help the Vikings out.
Well, that's one. You know, on the other hand, that could have been called a sack because he was in the possession, but Jorgensen
couldn't tell it.
Right here, see? He gave him the incomplete pass on it. Anyway, the Vikings come up defensively, and there's going to be a penalty for running into the kicker as the fair catch is made down at the 22. They had pressure on Runager. Remember, they already blocked one today, but it's going to be 1st down, 49ers.
Well, you can't touch the kicker. Once that ball leaves his foot, unless you're blocked into him, you cannot touch him. Runager doing a good job getting the ball off. Holt coming inside. The ball's away. You can't touch him.
Isaac Holt.
He was victimized earlier by Rice for a touchdown. He was victimized before that with a long pass completion to Rice. And now he comes inside trying to make something happen, block the punt of Runager. Unfortunately for him, Runager got the ball off, and he got the penalty for roughing the kicker.
So it's at the 47-yard line, 1st down, 49ers. We got 2 breaks in that series. Complete. Roger Craig takes quite a rap at the 50-yard line. Now let's take you to New York and Brett Musburger for an update.
Well, Tim, we're going to have a 2-way tie in the NFC Eastern Division. Phil Simms here hitting Solomon Miller, his first reception for a touchdown, and the Giants now lead 21-3 over the Eagles. So the Giants and the Skins would both be 5-1. Back to Tim and Terry.
All right, Brent. Battle in the NFC East. Battle out here in San Francisco, where the 49ers know that Atlanta has defeated the Rams earlier today to move to 5-1, and the 49ers trying to stay with them. Play action, Kemp to Rice. He's open again, and it's complete. Well, they roll. He's out of bounds. He caught the ball, but not with 2 feet in at the 15-yard line. Over Isaac Holt again. Another close call along the sidelines. One went for him. This one goes against. Let's see. 1, 2. Well, what do you think, Terry?
That was incomplete. The thing that happened, Kemp had to throw the ball outside because of the safety. Browner coming up so hard he couldn't throw it down the field, or Browner would have knocked the ball away. That time he let it outside. Now, if anything I would question here would be the relaxed attitude that Rice showed. Maybe Rice could have made drag that old foot, you know, like these receivers are taught to do, drag it and get the completion.
It is 3rd down and 5. Rice in the middle this time, crossing. 3 defenders hit him, but he has the 1st down.
I like Rice. I like that he can catch the ball deep, but the real test of a receiver is, can he catch the football in a crowd? Now, where you're going to find the crowd is just like he's doing here. Coming across the middle. He's downside. He comes in motion. down across the middle. He slows down because he sees the defender there, and he's taught to slow down. Browner comes up, makes the hit.
So it is first down at the 41-yard line of the Vikings. And meanwhile, we're tied in the 10th inning in that American League Championship Series. Angels and the Red Sox. Inside handout. And it's Tyler to the 35-yard line. Studwell and Brown are there to stop him.
I asked Studwell what was his role now with the Vikings, Tim, and he said, really, I'm a plugger. I'm like the guy with the finger in the dike to prevent the leak. No longer they try to isolate me man for man. He said, my job is to plug, get up in there and make collisions, make people make mistakes, but not to get out and freelance and run with these big fast backs anymore.
The new design by Lloyd Peters, the new defensive coordinator under Jerry Burns. 2nd and 5. Craig and Tyler. Craig in motion. Wendell Tyler up the middle, and he's hit by Martin, but he drags him for an extra couple and would appear to be very close to the first down. And we've got an injured player down. 2 49ers slow to get up. Tyler bounces up, but there's still one more down. It looks like Russ Francis, number 81. Francis, the veteran tight end, 33 years of age, out of Oregon, had 14 catches coming into the game. He's been having a fine start to this 1986 season. We'll have an injury timeout and return with the 49ers on top, 24-17. To the 49ers bench where he's being attended to, a leg injury of some kind. He was able to leave under his own power. Jeff Kemp has the 49ers 3rd down and a yard to go on the infield dirt near second base here at Candlestick. They're at the 26-yard line, and they let time expire. So that's the end of the 3rd quarter with the score. The San Francisco 49ers 24, the Minnesota Vikings 17. We now pause for a word from your local station.
This is
Tim Ryan and Terry Bradshaw back at Candlestick beginning the 4th quarter, and a 1-touchdown differential with the 49ers leading. They have the football. 3rd and 1 at the Viking 31-yard line. And straight ahead goes Roger Craig for the first down. First down at the 30-yard line.
Thing we've seen in the second half is a continuation of trying to get their running backs and their running game going. Both teams, both the Vikings and the 49ers, first half, unbelievable. The Vikings were 8 rushes for only 10 yards, Tim, and then the 49ers were 12 rushes for 25 yards. They've made their plays today via the air, throwing the football.
There are the numbers there, the passing yardage in favor of San Francisco, and they lead on the scoreboard. They converted on 11 of 15 third down situations now, and that's kept the ball for them. Here is Craig cutting it back upfield, tackled from behind this time by Keith Millard, number 75. So there'll be very little gain, maybe a half yard.
Very difficult, Tim, to run the football on stunning defensive lines where they're stunning and making the games, and you try to cut back. Craig that time tried to stretch out the linebackers and cut back against the flow of the defense. Almost impossible to find any holes because of the many movements that their tackles and ends make.
The word on Russ Francis, Terry, is that he has suffered a sprained knee and will not return. John Frank is his replacement, number 86. They have only 2 tight ends on the roster. Play action fake to Tyler, and they come back. What a defensive play intended for Frank. And David Howard, the linebacker, number 99, diving in front of him to knock it away, going against the grain on the play.
To play action, and a lot of times you have to wonder about the scheme, the setup. As Kemp comes out, automatically he's looking left. He's going to throw this ball to the left no matter what. Frank's there, he's wide, he's covered. But the thing about it, when he came out and made his play action, Rice, who had come down inside in motion, Tim, was wide open. You have to wonder if Montana, if he was running this offense, would have overlooked Franks and gone to Rice.
It is 3rd down. Jeff Kemp. Got a man wide open, Craig. At the 10-yard line of first down, 49ers. Willie Teal made the tackle. Craig unhappy that he slipped down, but it's a 19-yard gain.
Safety blitz by the Vikings. You gotta make gambles, trying to make things happen. Kemp reads it, Craig reads it, Now the football is hopped out to him. There it is. Now the thing for him to do is go straight ahead. Just make the move straight ahead. Don't allow Teal 37 to make the tackle. Make him knock you out of bounds or make him grab you from behind. But don't try to make a move on him.
Tom Rathman comes in for Roger Craig. Rathman, the rookie from Nebraska. Not seen a lot of action yet, but looks like a real good prospect and number 2 choice, number 44. Short drop by Kemp, runs out of time, and it is intercepted in the end zone. Carl Lee, number 39. Jerry Rice, the intended receiver. Pressure from Tim Newton, the big guy, number 96.
Kemp did not want to throw this football. He knows his man is. Look at him look back to the right. He said, well, let me go ahead and throw the ball anyway. Should not have thrown it. Rice is well covered that time by Lee, and a fine interception by Lee.
A big interception stopping the 49er drive. They used up 8:29 on that clock, but we're just underway in the 4th period. Minnesota down by a converted touchdown. There's the man of the moment, Carl Lee, number 39. Kramer brings out the Minnesota offense at their own 20. Kramer finally releases the ball complete to the tight end, Jordan, number 83. And Kramer went right up near the line of scrimmage before he released the ball, and then threw it perfectly, a 26-yard play.
Obviously, his shoulders all right. Getting him outside, Tim, running your quarterback outside gives him time, allows the receivers to work the secondary and get in the lanes and get open. That time, Jordan found the lane, and then Tommy was able to find him and get the ball to him.
His center, Dennis Willey, said after the Chicago game, in which he was sacked 7 times, had 2 intercepts, he didn't holler at anybody. He stayed charged up the whole way. He's a great competitor, Kramer. You must never count him out. That time, Alan Rice stopped near the line of scrimmage. Keena Turner and Carlton Williamson. Good defensive reaction for San Francisco on the play. No gain. But I think that's an important quality of Kramer's, that, you know, things went badly for them against the Super Bowl champs last week. Didn't get on his teammates, even though he had 7 sacks. Didn't rip his offensive line. Instead, he stayed the same way, optimistic, charged up. Come on, guys, stay at him. And that's the kind of competitor he is. 2nd down and 10. Up the middle, and it's incomplete. Trying to get to the tight end, Jordan, again a little behind him. It'll be 3rd down as Carlton Williamson had the coverage on the tight end Kramer, on the tight end Jordan.
One thing you have to learn if you're going to play in the National Football League and be a successful quarterback, Tim, is it's easy to play this game when everything's going well, when everything's going right and people are writing the good things about you. It's very easy to play the game. Very difficult to play a poor game and not have it affect you. And it takes a really strong person to just shove it aside, not let it change his personality or his character.
10-year man from Rice, Tommy Kramer, has had the ups and downs and knows all about that stuff. Number 1 choice back in 77. Out of the shotgun, Kramer. And he's hit from behind. That'll be a penalty recovered by the 49ers. A fumble, pardon me, recovered by the 49ers at the 30-yard line. Larry Roberts, the rookie from Alabama, comes up with a loose ball, and Charles Haley, the rookie from James Madison, made the hit.
Well, we had talked about Haley earlier, saying he was one of the main concerns that the Vikings would have to be aware of. Now they're having a little talk. They're going to see whether or not Tommy Kramer had his hand going forward. If he did, of course, that won't be a fumble. It will be an incompletion.
That'd be a huge turn of events if that's the case. You see the referee Dick Jorgensen discussing it.
Well, let's take a look.
Sure looked like a fumble to me.
Kramer's setting up in the pocket. Good time. He's waiting. Now he's hit from behind. Whew.
Never got the forward motion going in my judgment. What do you think?
Tim, the hit caused his arm to go forward. Watch Tommy as he sets up. Now he's getting ready to throw. There's the arm. There's the swing. Looks like a pass.
Look, in that last replay, it looked like after he'd been hit, he just made a great second effort to try and get the ball off. And there is Norm Schachter, the replay official. He's been watching what we've been watching.
Oh, they're going to rule. They did rule he fumbled it.
Well, It is 49er ball. I must say, I thought it was a fumble when I first saw it. And then on that last replay we showed, looked more to me like Tommy, with a great effort, managed to throw the ball with the guy actually hanging on him.
Yeah, what the umpire saw was the fact that the impetus came from Roberts as he hit him in the shoulder. That's what it looked like.
Yeah, there is Norm Schachter looking at their replay tapes. He's not looking at us looking at him. He's looking at their own videotapes, playing back, examining the play again. And there's a further delay here.
Well, why? We've seen this once where they call it and look and ask him to look at it again.
Yeah, because I think he was talking to them when we rolled our last replay. See, this is all part of why I hate this whole thing. This call has got to come from that man on the field. I just don't think this has any place in the NFL.
By the replay official, the ruling is fumble. The play stands. First down.
Yeah. The play stands as a fumble. It's 49er ball at the 30-yard line.
Well, I'm going to disagree with him just because I think Tommy Kramer, after looking at what you and I have seen, I think Tommy Kramer was trying to throw the football.
I have to agree, but only after seeing the replays. But that should be our discussion. I don't believe that it should be affected by the instant replay, the play on the field. I believe leave it in the hands of the guys on the field. Now you see he has seen another of our replays. And there's still further discussion. Now, they want to be right. I'm not blaming Norm Schachter or Dick Jorgensen. I'm just saying that what's happening is the technology, imperfect as it is going to get in the way of what the human call should be on the field. I've said it before. 90 players out there can make a mistake that change the outcome of the game. Why can't one of the 7 officials have the same human right? I hate this instant replay. First down. 49ers, they got the ball. It's the only thing they care about. And Roger Craig picks up about 2, swarmed under by no doubt a fired-up group of Viking defenders. They feel that it should have been an incomplete pass. Robinson, Howard, and Carl Lee all there.
Well, I think that's a smart move by Bill Walsh to send in a running play. With the Vikings fired up like that, and you send your quarterback back, they come with everybody in the kitchen sink, and then you get your man hurt or you get an interception. So I think that's smart. Come out and run the football, settle this thing down after what we think is a ridiculous call.
And then the other thing is you have all that long delay, which makes, let's not even go any farther with it. Second and 9. For the 49ers at the 29-yard line. Craig out of the backfield. Gets about 3 yards at the most. Again, good defensive reaction by the Vikings, and it was big Tim Newton who made the stop, number 96. 49ers lead 24-17. An exciting and well-played football game. 10:04 to go, regulation time. Carl Lee had intercepted in the end zone to stop a 49er drive, and they get the ball back on the controversial play. Fumble recovered by Roberts. Kemp. Oh, what a diving. Holt made the catch and has the interception. What a play by Isaac Holt. My, oh my, that was a great catch. Diving interception by Isaac Holt.
He's been victimized all day long. They had run this route just the play before. Kemp comes outside. Instead of taking the short man, Craig wide open, he forces the ball downfield, trying to get it to Rice, who's made many big plays. But this was one time too many as Holt finally got some revenge.
Isn't that something? All right, more excitement ahead. 9:32 still to play.
If you just ask for
out the drive, and then the 49ers getting it back on Kramer's fumble with Larry Roberts recovering, and now a diving interception by Isaac Holt. A beautiful catch, taking it away from Jerry Rice, and it's Viking ball. Kramer on first down. Screen pass. Darren Nelson, 2 blockers in front. Nelson all the way out to the 47-yard line, and Minnesota first down.
Thing you like to do is get the ball to the guy that can get you on the board. Darren Nelson, a great running back, lots of speed, good moves, equally as well with the football as a receiver. Good pump by Kramer to make him look one way. Now he sets up the screen, Swilly downfield to center. Good block. Now Nelson cuts it back inside and gets the big first down.
14-yard gain for Darren Nelson to the 48-yard line of Minnesota. 8:55 to play regulation time. 49ers lead by 7. Nelson. Oh, what a good defensive job. Big 95, Michael Carter strings along the line. The nose tackle showing some speed and makes the stop on Nelson. There'll be no gain. And meanwhile in California, down at Anaheim, the Angels and the Red Sox tied at 6-all in the 11th inning. Boston had gone ahead in that game, but the Angels tied it up. Tuiasa Sopo has come into the game defensively. He is number 78. Torrey Nixon, the nickelback, number 20, and an injury on the play to Carter on that last tackle he made. It doesn't appear to be serious, but is getting attention on the bench. Tommy Kramer waving Leo Lewis back. Kramer steps up in the pocket, has a man open. Lewis makes the catch and gets to the 36-yard line. Leo Lewis hit by a big guy from behind, Larry Roberts, and little Leo Lewis will need some attention. Roberts, the rookie from Alabama, goes 265. Lewis didn't even see him coming, and he is a little guy at 175 pounds. I think he got the ball in his belly.
Really, this is a good play. Now, you're going to see the quarterback, Kramer, trying to look. He's going to set up. Now, he sees the rush going to the outside. He steps up. Now he finds Lewis, which is a good throw. Now, Leo says, well, I'm going the wrong way. Now, he comes back, and then Roberts nails him from behind and falls on him.
Ouch. Yeah, I think he had all that weight with the football in his midsection, and you can see they're trying to get some air pumped back into Lewis. So probably that's all that happened. There, what a tough little guy he is. He just had all that wind knocked out. Leo Lewis. We got some excitement here. 35-yard line and a first down. Minnesota Vikings.
Lewis seems to have made all the tough catches today. Everything he has caught today, Tim, he seems to have had to pay the price, coming over the middle time and time again, making big catches and then taking punishment for it.
You know, they didn't think this kid had a chance to make it in the bigs. Out of Tennessee State, number 4 choice in '83. But his dad had played football under Bud Grant up in the Canadian Football League, and I think sentiment played a little bit of a role in giving him a chance. And then the kid showed he had the goods. And the 49ers stuff Allen Wright. Charles Haley. And Manu Tuiasa Sopo. No gain. Well, you can see how the trend has been here. The Vikings have been striking early until last week in Chicago. 55 points in the first quarters of games. And today, 2 early touchdowns, taking the 14-7 lead. But the 49ers chugging away, took the lead away, and now clinging to it, a 7-point margin. Blitz, second down. He gets time, and the pass incomplete. Not sure who he had in mind. The closest man was Jim Gustafson, number 80, a first-year man out of St. Thomas College in Minnesota, in there because Lewis had gone off with that minor injury.
Kramer doesn't have time to get set when they have an all-out 8-man blitz. He has to get rid of it because there's no one there to block for him. That time he had one choice and one choice only, and that was try to get it to Gustafson outside. He did, but it was just well covered, so he just threw the ball in the ground.
The crowd now chanting defense for the hometown 49ers on a third down play.
Another blitz.
Touchdown, Anthony Carter. Anthony Carter and Leo Lewis both went right to the goalpost. 35 yards. As you hollered blitz, Terry, Tommy Kramer saw it coming too, but he got some time. They did the blocking job.
That's exactly right. When you blitz and you pick it up, you put your corners in a terrible disadvantage because then they're one-on-one with these speed burners. Kramer has the time, the luxury to go downfield, and he finds his man. Carter gets him the football, and we're fixing to have maybe a tie football game.
Perfect strike to Anthony Carter coming off his arthroscopic knee surgery. Made a remarkable recovery to get back so quickly. Still not obviously feeling 100%, but he got there. And Keena Turner was the blitzing linebacker. The Vikings picked him up. Kramer, the experienced veteran, hanging in there, makes the touchdown toss. Chuck Nelson for the point after. The 49ers will be coming. And it's good. We have a tie football game with 6:37 to play at Candlestick Park, and it has been a dandy. There is Jerry Burns feeling a little better right now. We'll be back. Kyle about 6 yards deep, and the rookie will not bring it out. It'll be first down at the 20-yard line. All right, we've got 6:32 to go, Terry. What do you think Mr. Welch and Mr. Kemp are talking about?
Well, the offense has changed with Kemp, and Walsh's on admittance, they've become more strike, long balls with Kemp's strong arm. I think you can fall in love with that, but it goes against what Walsh's system is designed to do. Isolate back 6 yards, 7-yard pops, the thing that Montana did so well for so many years. Kemp comes in, and now they go deep, deep, deep. A tendency here is to go back to the original Walsh system. Bing, bang, 7 yards, 8 yards, eat the clock up, move it down the field. Boom, then score.
Well, Kemp, I'm watching him in practice this week. Well, that's the kind of stuff they were working on. And we'll see what they do. Wendell Tyler. That's about 2 out the right side, running behind Fonhorst and Randy Cross. Keith Millard made the tackle. And meanwhile, in the 11th inning, the Red Sox ahead. 7-6. Some kind of game. What a series that's been. A thriller yesterday. Won by the Angels, and Boston refusing to quit. 7-6 in the 11th. An Angel victory sends them into the World Series. All right, 2nd and 8 here. Kemp with Roger Craig and Wendell Tyler in the backfield. Going to use the old pick and poke method. Play action. The rush on, gets away from that, and he goes deep to Clark, and it is almost intercepted and then almost caught as Willie Teal saw the ball all the way, tried a leaping interception try, went off his fingers and nearly into the hands of Dwight Clark.
You're going to look, and you're going to see Clark on the outside, center your screen up the field. Now you're going to see Holt just laying off because he's got deep coverage. The safety should be over there. All right, now you see Teal. He's back there. He's well covered, and this time very easily could have been intercepted. Good coverage that time as they doubled Clark, doubled Rice, and singled the tight end.
Willie Teal, coming off injured reserve, has played much of this game for John Harris, who's been playing with a sore shoulder the past couple of weeks. And it really bothered him against the Bears last week. So Teal off injured reserve, normally a corner. They got him playing safety. Kemp trying to hit Rice under pressure, and that one overthrown as the Vikings had a lot of heat on young Jeff Kemp, so Minnesota's defense does the job.
You got to think now back to the hold intersection in the end zone when Kemp forced the ball in there. A sure pop 3 points, possibly a touchdown. And now you play around, you mess around, you make a lot of mental mistakes, and you find yourself probably in a position where all of a sudden the Vikings are going to be in scoring territory.
And tribute to the Vikings defense, without Mark Mullaney and Neil Elshire, 2 of their starters, they've had good pressure on Kemp today.
Oh, great punt.
Runager's punt. Backs up Best to the 30-yard line and has a little trouble with it, but buries it there. And it will be Viking ball at the 31-yard line. A tie football game. 5:29 to play regulation time after Runager's 47-yard punt. We'll be back.
Now, next week on CBS, let me set the menu because it's an important one. San Francisco will take on Atlanta, and the 49ers, of course, would be 5-1 if they can pull this one out. Unbeaten Chicago will take on Minnesota for the 2nd time in 3 weeks. It's doubleheader week here on CBS. And the key game will match the Giants, who will be coming in 5-1 against Seattle. Right now, Seattle battling the Los Angeles Raiders. They trail it by 4 with time running down in that one. Now, those of you in Minneapolis will not see the doubleheader game because the blackout will be lifted in that particular city. Hey, there's Terry Bradshaw with Tim Ryan. Let's go back to those 2 big fellas. Timmy?
Okay, Brent. Well, we've got a thriller here for sure. But the score tied, 5:29 to go. Remember, the Vikings had the early lead in this game. They went up 7-0 and then 14-7. But the 49ers led at halftime, 17-14. By 24-17 at the end of 3. And now we're tied. First down, Minnesota at the 31. Rice is tackled in the backfield. Number 72, Jeff Stover, breaking through to make the stop for a loss.
Rice that time making a spin move, trying to get away and cut back. Actually, he spun right into Stover's. He came down, penetrated, stuck out one of those big arms, got a hold of him, drug him down.
49ers have used everybody in here today on their defensive front. Hardy, Carter, Board, Stover, Tuiasosopo, Larry Roberts. Everybody but Pete Kugler has got sore ribs. They didn't expect him to get in today. Second down and 15. Kramer out of the backfield. Good coverage again by the Niners. Ted Brown hit immediately by Eric Wright, number 21.
This is the play you run on first down. I disagree with the play calling sequence here. Coming out on the first down, they ran the football. Against the 49ers, you want to throw the football. Play action, because that's when they're soft with their pass rush.
And that's what Kramer said the plan would be, although they have thrown quite a bit on first down today, but not that time.
Yeah, but we got 4:22 and counting. Now you want to get that football and move it.
That's right. Jerry Burns on the sideline. Looks like an unmade bed over there, doesn't he? The players love that guy, though. He's a popular coach. The crowd alive. Incomplete, nearly intercepted. Alan Rice out of the backfield. 2 49ers on him. Williamson and Keena Turner.
Would have been a great catch. Excuse me. Would have been a great catch. Seems like the tough catches have come over the middle. Kramer, plenty of time. He has Rice isolated as the 49ers put an all-out rush on him, and then all of a sudden he's standing there waiting on him as Tom Holmoe as he delivers the blow and knocks the ball out.
It was Holmoe indeed, number 46, who plays in their dime defenses as the 6th defensive back, third-year man from BYU. So the Niners do the job defensively. Greg Coleman will punt. Griffin slips through for an extra 5 yards, and the 49ers with good field position at the 42-yard line. 39-yard punt, a 12-yard return. The 49er faithful making themselves heard. Telecast presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of the telecast without the express written consent of the San Francisco 49ers and the National Football League is prohibited. 49ers first down at their own 41-yard line. 3:51 to play. We are tied. White Clark in motion. Dropped by Roger Craig, and he had some real estate. It was not a good pass. It was behind him, and he would have been starting from a standing start had he caught the ball instead of in motion with a lot of ground. It just was not a good pass by Jeff Kemp.
It's a read that Kemp has. He sees Clark crossing across the middle. He sees Rice crossing, and then he keys the backers. If they run with him, then he dumps it off to the running back. That time they ran with him, he dumped it off to his back, but he didn't give him a good pass.
Still in the 11th inning, the Red Sox leading the Angels 7-6. You saw Mike Nowosky, the backup quarterback, signal in this play. Kemp complete this time. Roger Craig, first down, knocked out at the 48-yard line of Minnesota by Studwell and Howard.
One of the problems you have with the 49ers is you have to cover everyone. Everyone in this offense is a receiver. They use them and use them well. Craig is a running back. Also a running back catches the football and catches it well. A little option. He gets outside. He beats David Howard and gets the first down.
Joe Montana is at this game in the box of the owner, Eddie DiBartolo. I'm talking with Kemp about his relationship with Joe, how things are going. He said, oh, gosh, we get along great. He said, you know, I've got somebody I can call and talk to as I'm still learning about all this offense. In fact, Thursday night, the two players and their wives had dinner together. Wendell Tyler blasts ahead, gets to about the 46-yard line. That'll leave 2nd and 7 for San Francisco. And Jeff Kemp, a modest young guy, confident as a player, but modest, not trying to say, hey, I don't know this whole thing yet. Yes, I've got to learn how to throw those short passes and develop that kind of touch and feel that Montana has, but I can get the ball downfield. That's what I'm bringing to the deal. And so far, he and Walsh have made something work. This team is 4-1, trying to get to 5-1. Tied with Atlanta. Winners over the Rams earlier today. Out of the shotgun. Good catch by Clark, a flag down. White Clark at the 40-yard line, a couple of yards short of the first down. Isaac Holt made the hit. And a holding signal against the Minnesota Vikings. Defensive holding. That does not please Jerry Burns.
Number 57, defense, first off.
Chris Martin, 57, outside linebacker. He's the guy called for holding. The only time he would hold, Tim, is if he knew he was beaten, and he would reach out and grab his guy to prevent a big play from happening.
And yet it was off the ball. It was away from Clark.
Really?
So that's costly. Kemp found Clark. Clark made a nice catch. He had to climb the ladder on that one. First down, 49ers. Minnesota, 41-yard line. And something on the sideline here. Timeout. Oh, 2-minute warning. As we got to the 2 minutes to go here in this football game with the score tied at 24-all. We'll return to Candlestick Park as an unhappy Jerry Burns.
Call the coverage because either if you blitz, you get burned. If you play it soft, they pick up 10, 15, 20 yards. Now you're in field goal territory. What do you do? What do you do?
Let's find out. First down at the 41-yard line of Minnesota. An aroused sellout crowd at Candlestick exhorting their troops, and Kemp has to line up Roger Craig. A bit of a mix-up there. Now they go to Tyler. No, the pass is caught out the left side by John Frank, the tight end. Gain of about 5.
Built-in pick. Take Tyler inside to run into the linebacker and allow the tight end to scrape off of his hip, picking the backer that has to cover him.
Yeah, the Red Sox stay alive and lead. Won the game 7-6 and trail in the series 3-2. And we want to welcome all of you. Might have been sneaking a peek at the baseball and came in here. You're going to see some finish. 1:25 on the clock. They're tied at 24. 49ers with the football. Kemp complete. First down at the 22-yard line to Jerry Rice. He has 2 touchdowns already today. 14-yard gain.
It's a delayed pocket rollout by the quarterback. Takes a 1-2-3 set to get the linebackers to set. Then he rolls out wide. Now look at Rice just driving straight downfield. He turns the defensive back. In a minute, he turns it. He cuts off, goes outside, and then Kemp gets the football to him.
His 7th catch today, 144 yards for this spectacular second-year man from Mississippi Valley State.
You got to think the Vikings probably said, maybe this guy isn't for real. To the top of the telecast, I thought Clark would be one of the primary guys.
Well, they did go to Clark, and they did go to their tight ends, but Rice has got his time, too. Roger Craig, this time stacked up at the line of scrimmage, got maybe a half yard. Safety man Joey Browner, number 47, forcing the action. Floyd Peters sorting out the defense with head coach Jerry Burns.
That play was a play that was designed for nothing. Just move it a little bit further to the right. We got to find out which, whether or not they want to try to kick from the right hash to the left hash or what. But that play tells me they're setting themselves up for a field goal.
46 seconds and ticking, so they've got to use the time. Vikings have got to make something happen. High formation. Craig tackle behind the line of scrimmage. Browner again blasting in there. Vikings get the timeout call. 25 seconds remain to be played. 3rd down. Wersching will be the man on the spot for the 49ers. An opportunity to win the game. The Vikings calling timeout. It is 3rd down. We'll return to Candlestick with a tied ball game and 25 seconds to play. We're back at Candlestick, and there's the man, Ray Wersching. His longest so far this season, a 46-yarder. If they have to kick from this line of scrimmage, it'll be approximately a 40-yard field goal for him, and he's 8 of 10 overall on the season.
Tim, don't you kind of wonder why they did this? 40 yards, it's a pretty good long field goal. I remember once being on the 5-yard line, and I talked Chuck Noll out of a field goal try. I said, no, I want to score. Let me score. Let me get outside and have an option run pass. I talked him into it, and we scored a touchdown. And I thought it was a smart play. Maybe they think this is a smart play.
Well, now they're at 3rd down, so they've got to make something happen, and they are going to run the football. And Craig gets to the 20, so they picked up only a couple of yards, so we're still talking approximately 40-yard field goal. We'll see exactly, obviously, in a moment. It is 4th down, 11 seconds and counting. They're going to let it count down before they get the timeout called, and now they do with 5 seconds left. So they don't want to give the Vikings a chance to do anything more except get to overtime, but Wersching will come in and try and finish it. Now the Vikings, of course, have a blocked punt earlier and a near block punt a second time. And that's their hope. And at the end of this game, we've got quite a lineup as usual for you Sunday nights on CBS, beginning with 60 Minutes. And then that'll be followed by Murder, She Wrote with Angela Lansbury, and a special Circle of Violence, a family drama starring Tuesday Weld and Geraldine Fitzgerald, all coming up tonight on CBS. Now the Vikings have a reputation of being able to block kicks, both field goals and punts. They have a long history of it. And under Jerry Burns, they've got 2 blocked punts already this season. One of them today went for a touchdown. Jerry Burns hoping that he can get somebody in there. They've got Rufus Bess wide to the left, number 21. He's a speedster, good defensive back. They use him as a return man with Buster Rhymes out of there. On the right side, they've got a new man, David Evans, number 26, out of the USFL in Central Arkansas. Will they be coming from the outsides in a hurry? Who have they got in the middle?
You don't block field goals from the outside, though, Tim. You block them up the middle.
Let's take a look at number 72 among them. That's David Huffman. He's right in the middle. Ray Wersching, it's being spotted at the 28-yard line. And he's hit the upright. Overtime. Wersching from 38 yards hit the upright. Jerry Burns says more football. Good coaching, Jerry.
Wersching, all the pressure was placed on his shoulders or in his right foot. There's the kick. He's watching it evidently. It's oh no. OT.
Well, Terry, you know, you made a good point. You don't block field goals very often from the outside, but in that replay, you saw David Evans right there just after he got the kick away. Now, he did get it away, but who knows what little distractions. Evans came free. Perhaps Wersching was distracted enough. There's the
Tommy Kramer's hollering because they got the football. They won the toss. They're going to allow it. They're going to
have the football first.
Well, I go back to that again. The blind side of a kicker, he doesn't see that. He would see the guy coming from the left side, which would the side he'd be viewing.
No matter what happens, Wersching hit the upright. And we will have overtime here at Candlestick Park. We'll be right back. There is Ray Wersching as the Vikings won the toss. They'll receive. He'll have to kick it off. And let's go back to the missed field goal. Watch Brown from the left of your screen. Wersching's field goal try goes up and hits the left upright right at the top from 38 yards away. And Ray Wersching saying, oh no, I had the wind on my toe. All right, we're back live, and Rufus Betts from the 1-yard line for Minnesota finds some daylight on the sidelines and gets it up to about the 38-yard line, forced out by the kicker, Ray Wersching. So Tommy Kramer now with the ball and an opportunity for a Viking victory if they can get it into scoring range.
A lot of pressure.
Return.
Excuse me. A lot of pressure now on your defensive backs. They know if they slip, it could be the ball game. They know now they cannot allow to make a mistake. Now's the time for the offense to really attack the corners and safeties because they're the ones that are uptight. You have the football. Hey, you can win the game.
We note now that Don Griffin, number 29, is in on the left corner. One of the 2 rookies, but not the starter today. That was Tim McKyer. On first down, Kramer wants to throw. Incomplete. Try to get it to the tight end. Good coverage on him by the linebacker, Tina Turner. Steve Jordan unable to hold on. Tina Turner, outstanding linebacker, doesn't get quite the play that a lot of the name guys around the league do because he's used differently in the San Francisco defense, but the players themselves count him among the ranks of the Taylors and Ricky Jacksons and Andre Tippett's and Hugh Greens. Way to good play there, showing his speed, covering the tight end. Second down and 10. Crowd chanting defense. And Kramer calls timeout. Didn't like the look of something. He'll talk it over with Jerry Burns and Bob Schnelker, the offensive coordinator.
Well, Tommy probably is questioning the play that was sent in. Either he's got the wrong formation. You know, normally they just send the play. Quarterbacks, he's in charge of the formation. He has to set the team.
Well, they'll sort it out, and we'll take this timeout and be right back. Tim Ryan with Terry Bradshaw. It is 2nd and 10, Minnesota. And they're at their own 36-yard line.
You know, they took McKay out. I'm only going to guess here, but they take McKay out because he is so aggressive, and he's had those 4 touchdown passes over him. And then the kid on the other side is a little bit softer. He doesn't make the mistakes. He's a lot more quiet than McKay is.
So there's 29 Griffin, who's in on the left corner in McKay's spot. Now, Griffin had been playing the right corner because Eric Wright, unable to start the season, the veteran, with a groin injury. It went back all the way to last season. So they had McKay on the left corner with Eric Wright today, but they have replaced McKay with Don Griffin, the rookie from Middle Tennessee State.
So the kid doesn't make a lot of big plays, but it doesn't give up the big play, and that's why that's my guess, and Tim, that is why he's in this football game.
Kramer now 23 of 37, 288 yards, 2nd and 10 from his own 31-yard line. Carter and Lewis. Anthony Carter, AC they call him, Leo Lewis, a wide receiver. Lewis in motion. His defender fell down. Kramer under pressure, has a man open, Darren Nelson.
Oh, great play.
Tripped up by Eric Wright as Nelson tried to put the spin on him. Nearly got away, but Eric Wright got a hand. First down, Minnesota.
Great job by McCramer. A lot of pressure setting up. He gets the pressure inside. He moves out, but he can't get outside. He finally finds Nelson. He gets him the football. Now look at this play. Pirouette, turns around and stumbles and gets the first down.
11-yard pickup. He had to make that second effort to get the first down. They're now at the 43-yard line of the Vikings. Minnesota football. 14:06 to go in this overtime period. First possession. Play action. Anthony Carter. Perfect pass. On the fly, Carter hit immediately, but has another first down in San Francisco territory. Ronnie Lott and Eric Wright brought him down.
Gutsy throw by Kramer. Little play action to hold the linebackers. There's a quick slant. He puts his eyes on Carter, gets the football in there. Kept it nice and low. Takes a lot of courage to make that catch.
Not only that, you can see from that replay how hard it is for the quarterback to see against all those big guys in front of him. Kramer 6'2", pretty good height, but not one of the real big quarterbacks. First down. Let's see what the Niners can do now that the ball is in their territory. They need a big defensive play.
Blitz.
And they get it. Ted Brown. No gain. Ronnie Lott. Jim Fonhorst on the stop.
You got a question now. Is that Kramer saw the blitz coming. You know, and you get in his mind. He saw the blitz coming. He had a run. Run's no good. When you're pitching out wide, no good. There's no way you can make that happen. What Tommy's got to do is get an audible in there and get that football up in the air. That's how you're going to score against the blitz.
Alan Rice comes in at running back. Number 36. Seen virtually nothing of Alfred Anderson today, who was the scheduled starter. 2nd and 10.
Blitz.
He finds Alan Rice. Rice knocked out of bounds at the 30-yard line.
One of the things the quarterback can do to help himself in this crucial situation to figure out the coverage, especially blitz, Tim, is look at the corners and look at their eyes. If they're looking at the receiver and not looking inside, it's blitz, it's man. That time, good job by Kramer. He picks his man out, Rice. Now, Rice does a good job of getting outside and go ahead and trying to get the first down.
Jim Fonhorst had the coverage on him. The linebacker had to chase him over to the sideline where Lott drove him out. It is third down. They need about a yard and a half for a first down. Showing run in this formation. And they have the first down to the 25-yard line. Alan Rice. Big play for the 205-pounder from Baylor. Tom Holmoe made the stop. 12:19 on the clock, and the Vikings pushing it into field goal position for Chuck Nelson. He's 5 of 7 for the season.
You can see the momentum change. You can see the attitudes change. As now the Vikings, they've got the big break. Wersching missed the field goal, and boy, all of a sudden they turn into Tigers, aggressive, attacking, linemen coming off the football, making things happen. And that's what you got to have. That's the thing that Burnsy wants to see in his football team, that hunger.
Don't forget, many of you will be seeing next 60 Minutes here on CBS. Fake by Kramer. Deep sideline, broken up. Fine defensive play. Flag down on the near side, but it was Don Griffin, the rookie number 29, with excellent defensive work.
The reason they put him in is because he doesn't give up the big play. Won't hurt you. Now, he may not make as many interceptions as McIver, but look at here. Good play. He comes underneath, and he gets the hand in, and he knocks the ball away from Lewis.
But meanwhile, a flag down on the near side, away from the ball on the near side of the field, and the penalty is against San Francisco.
Deliberate face mask foul, number 21, defense, half the distance to the
Eric Wright. The irony of that, the veteran Eric Wright takes a penalty on the other side of the field, and the rookie Griffin makes a great defensive play. And there is a
Walsh
Bill
can't
Walsh.
believe it.
No, I mean, you don't want your rookies to make that kind of a penalty. You sure don't want your veterans.
You know, you can sense the big hold interception earlier, and the momentum has changed. You kind of sense that the 49ers thought they were going to put the Vikings away. They kind of just had that attitude, didn't really strike, try to kill. And now all of a sudden things are backfiring on them, and the Vikings are down in here to either kick a field goal, throw a touchdown pass, run it in, whatever, and win the football game.
Great to get that coin toss, though, and win the toss and have the ball on that first possession in overtime. That's one thing that I don't really care for a whole lot about the overtime situation, but those are the rules, and the Vikings had to move the ball downfield to get a chance to score, and it's up to the 49ers to stop it. First down. Darren Nelson, he's got running room. Oh, what a tackle from behind. And that was Charles Haley. Haley, number 94. What a job by the speed of that guy. The rookie from James Madison, tracking him from behind. That's the new Fred Dean of the 49ers. They use him like they use Dean.
Well, he has the speed. I thought he was Solomon. I saw the 4, and I couldn't believe it was Haley, 94, as he comes inside. Now you see him in your screen as he runs down Nelson.
Great job at the 12-yard line. Gain of about a half yard.
Thing teams like to do here, especially the Vikings, teams that throw to their backs, is run picks. They're illegal, but send people in motion and run little picks.
Second down. Alan Rice, and Rice, another good defensive play, this time by Stover, as Rice was looking at daylight, and Stover got a hand on his ankle. But they are obviously down there where they can get the field goal.
And you can see that's what they're thinking. They run one play to the right, Nelson to the right, Nelson up the middle. Stover makes a play, Haley makes a play. Not trying to throw it and score on a touchdown pass, but just setting up an opportunity for the field goal kicker.
There is Chuck Nelson. Now, he has missed his last 2 field goal tries. He had hit the first 5 of the season. He has missed on his last 2, so he's 5 of 7. He has a 48-yarder. That's his long, and he won't be thinking about that range because he's going to be a little closer. It is third down, and they're bringing the field goal unit on the field.
Smart. You get a penalty here. It's against you. You make it and you push it back. You get another opportunity. So this is smart.
Greg Coleman, the punter, number 8, is the holder for Minnesota. Jim Huff will be the man snapping the ball, number 51. The starting left guard, but the snapper on the kicking team. And they use that little sidewinder huddle away from the kicker, Nelson. Nelson does his own thing, locked into the lonely task of trying to come up with the winning field goal.
Field goal kickers aren't even allowed in their own huddle, are they? Talk about isolation from the team. And yet he'll be the one that's carried off the field if he makes this field goal try.
It'll be a 28-yard attempt for Chuck Nelson. The 49ers will be bringing everything they can muster. And the crowd encouraging them. There's been a couple of bad snaps, and Coleman has done a good job of fielding. There's another. What a job. That's it. Chuck Nelson, but credit Coleman. The third time today, he had to get that ball in shape, and a smiling Jerry Burns says, this is fun. The hard way, but we did it. And the Vikings have moved to 4-2. And the San Francisco 49ers fall to 4-2. With Atlanta now atop
Look
the
at
NFC
Kramer.
West. Kramer and the guy they call Burnsy. So the Minnesota Vikings with a field goal from 28 yards away and a great hold by Greg Coleman. 27-24 victory. So for Terry Bradshaw, this is Tim Ryan saying so long from our thriller in San Francisco. Let's take you to some thrills in New York with Brent Musburger.